Imagine spending your entire life training to become the world's greatest assassin. Everyone knows your name, and you are regarded as the most dangerous person alive. But then, out of nowhere, everything changes. Out of nowhere, you find yourself being hunted by elite spies. Suddenly, you find yourself in another world. And once you arrive in this strange new land, you discover that you are summoned by a captivating young lady who wishes to make you her husband. She assumes you're completely powerless, so she decides to let you live off her generosity. All she really needs is a husband to satisfy her father's expectations. But she's no ordinary woman. Aside from being, well, she is extremely well endowed and incredibly strong. In fact, she is one of the most respected generals in the world. So what would you do? Would you reveal the truth that you are a highly trained killer? Or, after a lifetime of violence, bloodshed, and survival, would you choose to surrender and embrace the easy life that the Empress has provided? Honestly, I'd be tempted. I'd probably waver back and forth on it. But what will our guy choose? At this very moment, the story reveals that he is still being pursued by the assassin guild to which he once belonged. During a chase, there is a thrilling pursuit that keeps everyone on the edge of their seats. The adrenaline surges as the characters navigate through tight corners and bustling streets, each moment filled with tension and excitement. A sudden explosion erupted. We then see the Empress performing a summoning ritual. She declares, "In the name of the spirit that dwells within me, I summon a servant from a different time and space." Suddenly, a figure appears on her bed, their head covered with a cloth. The figure removes the cover, glancing around and trying to determine where to go next. Confused, they take in their surroundings, struggling to make sense of the situation. But we already know who this troublemaker is. It can only be our protagonist. The Empress who summoned him is Ruin. Leaning on her hand, she appears clearly disappointed, realizing that the man she called forth looks like just an ordinary guy. Meanwhile, our shameless boy is already blushing as he thinks about her beauty. That angelic face, that flawless skin, she's like a wild, untamable ocean, a force of nature with an unbeatable spirit. It's hard to fault him for that. Then the Empress sighs and mutters, "You know what? This actually works out. You've saved me a lot of trouble." Xiao Qian, feeling disoriented, asks, "Who are you? Where are we?" She spreads her arms and replies, "I am the Empress of the Great Yang Dynasty. From this moment on, you are the Prince of the Realm and my husband." Our boy just stands there, completely bewildered, looking like he got hit in the face with a ton of bricks. She clears her throat and continues, "Yep, you heard right. Some of my advisors were urging me to get married. I wanted to avoid pressure from that annoying minister, so I summoned you for political support." His eyes begin to sparkle, and he practically glows with happiness. He says, "I don't have to do anything here. I just need to be your husband." She shrugs, essentially. Of course, this shameless rascal flops back onto the bed and invites the Empress to join him for some quality time. She quickly clarifies that she won't be fulfilling any wifely duties. However, she promises that he will never have to worry about food, clothing, or money for the rest of his life. She'll find a way to remove the slave ring that became embedded in him during the summoning. After that, she instructs him to meet her in the Imperial Hall before leaving the room. Xiaochan sits there, captivated by her commanding presence. He looks down at the ring and thinks, this is the contract ring she mentioned. As long as he is under its effect, he cannot do anything to hurt her. That's when the long-awaited system finally appears and asks, "Would you like to activate the most powerful supreme system? Yes or no?" Our guy pauses and says, "Wait a second. I find myself in another world, where I'm presented with an incredibly powerful system." Surprisingly, he declines the offer. Honestly, I expected him to accept, but our guy knows what he's doing. Then he begins to speak. "I was adopted as an orphan when I was a child. I had to train and fight relentlessly just to survive. Because of the assassin guild I worked for, I had no say in who my targets were. I wanted to be the I've already walked that path. I'm done. What I want now is what's right. Is there anything better than being a pampered prince with no responsibilities?" He takes a seat, feeling satisfied. But then the system responds, "Because you declined, we will now erase your memory and move on to another candidate." Xiao Qian simply stares it down as the system begins to glitch. Seismic failure detected. Attempting to disconnect. Seismic failure continues. Attempting to forcibly bond with the user. Seismic failure continues. Attempting to forcibly bond with the user. Seismic failure. This belongs to an ultra-dimensional plane. Earth is entering parasite mode. A seismic failure has occurred, and the system is malfunctioning, which is incredibly frustrating. Despite trying every trick in the book, nothing seems to work. After 9,999 failed attempts, it gives up and pleads, "Can I at least be your assistant, please?" Our protagonist stands there, deep in thought. Now, this entity won't be my system anymore. It will be my slave. Now that I can agree with. He decides to give the system a name, One Cow. Immediately the system warns him, "Dear master, please hold your breath. Otherwise, there may be unnecessary consequences." Xiao Qian feels confused, but the moment he takes a breath, the nearby plants begin to disintegrate. The system panics. "No, don't do that. Suppress your power." That's when he realizes he has become a bit stronger. He asks the system to explain what is happening. The system replies that on Earth, people are bound by 490,000 dimensional rules. That's what makes them so overwhelmingly powerful. Our protagonist then asks, "So how many dimensional rules does?" The system responds that this world has 3,000. This means that he is now 470,000 times stronger. Naturally, Xiao Qian wants to check his status window. What emerges is the revelation that he carries the bloodline of the ancient Chinese dragon descendants, a bloodline so rare and powerful that the system itself cannot fully comprehend its true strength. Big Guy decides to test his power a bit, so he heads to the martial arts training hall. He swings the sword through the air with a swift motion. The blade slices effortlessly, cutting through the silence of the room. The sword breaks in his hand. He mutters, "Chah! This Empress sure doesn't take good care of her weapons." The system chimes in. Weapons in this world are ranked from 1 to 9. That one was ranked 6, making it a pretty decent weapon. He carefully grabs another one this time, using just his fingertip. He gives it a look and says, "This one looks all right." As soon as he touches it, a crack forms. Once again, everything has fallen apart. Our guy gets frustrated and throws it away. "All right, message received. At the very least, I know I'm strong enough. It doesn't matter if the weapons are." He dismisses the thought, assuring himself that he doesn't plan to kill anyone this time around. He walks out of the hall, and the scene shifts to the next day. He wakes up and notices someone nearby, lying beside him. He has excellent company. Startled, he asks, "Wait, did we?" The Empress blushes as she gazes at him. Still half asleep, he cups her cheek and mumbles, "Did we actually do that?" She completely ignores the question and instead asks if he slept well. "I slept great, but am I in the wrong room?" She explains that she had to stay the night to avoid raising suspicion. A married couple sleeping in separate rooms on their wedding night would certainly raise eyebrows and spark conversation. She rises as elegant as ever and says, "I will send someone to assist you if you need anything." Then she turns around, radiant as ever, and gently offers her apology. "I regret something you hear that serves my own interests." Our boy is beaming from ear to ear. This woman is incredible. Not only is she is majestic, but she also takes care of me. It's easy. Life, here I come. Night falls. We cut to the Empress, who asks if the situation in the north is truly that dire. Her friend, a former general, responds with regret, confirming that the barbarians are already beginning to invade. According to our intel, the sacred barbarian will also be here. The Empress slams her little notebook shut and declares, "Then I'll go take it back myself. I'll deal with that old bastard once and for all." She turns to the general and says, "In 3 days, you're coming north." The ex-general doesn't hesitate at all. She lights up. That woman thrives on chaos. 3 days later, we see the Empress fully armored, a clear indication that she is someone who knows how to fight. Before leaving, she asks if everything is in place. The woman nods and replies that she has assigned Lingye to watch over him, so there's nothing to worry about. But then she turns and asks, "Why are you so concerned with that prince? He seems completely useless." The Empress replies, "Ever since he arrived, I felt stronger somehow. Perhaps he brings good luck to the empire." And just like that, she sets off to reclaim the north. Watching her right away is the general's daughter. Zhao Lingye is the one left in charge of watching over our boy. To say she's unhappy about it would be an understatement. She mutters to herself, "Why do I have to babysit this worthless prince?" Then she glances over at him. Her majesty is truly captivating. So why did she marry someone like him? But just then, out of nowhere, someone snatches Xiao Qian. She remains completely unaware. And what does our hero do? He continues to eat his roast chicken calmly, despite being thrown down in front of a group of shady-looking men. One of them, wearing what looks like a half-mask, turns and asks, "Are you sure this is the right guy?" That loser is the Empress's husband. Lingye, who should be assisting him, is simply perched in a tree, observing everything, and convinced that he's a complete fool. As soon as the kidnappers move a short distance away, she jumps down and grabs his hand, saying, "Come on, let's get out of here." But just then, he vanishes. It turns out Lingye was deceived by an illusion, and now she finds herself trapped in a spiritual cage. The guys return and immediately recognize her as the general's daughter. Meanwhile, our protagonist navigates the challenges ahead, calmly munching on his chicken as if it were just another ordinary afternoon. Lingye is already sketching her when the scar-faced man warns her not to use the sword. She demands, "Who are you?" before he takes off, his mask revealing a long face. Scar asks, "Do you remember me?" Cut to the next scene. She is chained in a cave. Shock fills the air as Liang, the frightened man, is revealed to be alive. Our boy chimes in cheerfully, "Oh, so you all know each other. Great. In that case, I'm heading out." Liang places a hand on his shoulder and says, "We're not done here." Shuquan sighs in disappointment and says, all right then, I guess I'll wait. Scarface thinks to himself that at least the Empress's husband has guts. He hands Shu a vial and says, you're going to put this in the Empress's water. Shu takes it and casually replies, sure, no problem. Li Ying eyes him with suspicion. This is going too smoothly. He warns that it's a non-verbal promise item. If you drink it and break the deal, you will die. Before he can finish his sentence, Shu interrupts. She downs it, then turns to him and says, okay, can I go now? I've got things to do. If I take too long, those Imperial guards are going to start looking for me. Li Ying stares at the empty bottle, completely thrown off. What am I supposed to do with a guy like this? Our boy sits there, thinking, I've done everything you asked. Just let me go already, man. Li Ying shouts at him, you shameless traitor. How could the Empress choose someone like you? Li Ying scolds her, saying, you're an idiot. The prince simply understands the situation better than you do. You and your mother are the only ones who fail to see just how desperate the situation has become in the Yang dynasty. Shu points to Ling Yi and asks, now that I've taken the poison, can I take her with me? She screams, I don't want your help, but Li Ying cuts in, sorry, can't do that. I have some unfinished business with her that I need to resolve. Shu frowns, realizing that this plan won't work. I'm not leaving without her, he states plainly. If I have to leave here without her, it'll be because I'm dead, Li Ying responds. Fine, then you'll die of poison right here in this cave. Our boy gives him an innocent look and says, don't be petty, man. I've been nothing but cooperative. Suddenly, one of the henchmen behind him snaps and charges forward. He moves forward and throws a punch at him. The man's fist swings. Just near Shu's hair, there are linear flinches. He's just an ordinary guy, she thinks. How will he manage to survive that? But when they look again, he's still sitting there, yawning. Both of them freeze in shock. How can he be this calm? With a serious expression, Shu says, are you going to move that hand or not? The guy still has a grip on his hair. Shu simply mutters, don't touch my hair. Then, with a sudden movement, he delivers a lazy side punch. A massive explosion erupts, and it's clear that the man has been completely vaporized. The entire cave trembles. Our boy tilts his head, wondering why that happened. He throws another punch, and then another. By now, he's exhausted. 3 guys are already up. The mast. A guy falls to the floor as Shu approaches. The man begins pleading for his life, but it's too late. With time running out, the situation has become critical. With just one stare, Sue makes him disintegrate. He literally killed the guy just by looking at him. He turns to Linger, noticing her trembling and the pee prints on the ground. Please, let me live, she pleads. I had no idea you were like this, Shu. He grabs the chains in his hand. Snap, she's free and completely stunned. How did he break sacred chain formations as if they were mere twigs? He looks at her and says, silly girl, why did you think I'd hurt you? Just sit here and don't move. I'm going to clean up the evidence. Then he leaps into the sky like the Hulk. In the distance, 2 mountains rise majestically. Linger, smiling and dazed, mutters, what the hell? Am I seeing things? Wait, why is a mountain bouncing around? Wait, why is a mountain coming this way? And there he is, our heroic Chad, carrying an entire mountain. He drops it behind her with a loud thud. Shu strolls up carefree and says, there, no more evidence. Linger stands frozen, utterly dumbfounded. So, that's how you cover up a crime, huh? Our boy walks away and says, hey, little girl, when they ask, just say you were the one who saved me, all right? She stares at him, completely confused. Wait, what do you mean? With a straight face, he looks at her and says, didn't your mom ever tell you to listen to what adults say? She's still in shock, but nods in understanding. Got it. I won't tell anyone. Proud as ever, he smirks and says, that's right, good girl. Now let's go. He lifts her up by the waist and carries her along. He crosses his arms and glances to the side. Her friend is nearby, searching the area. One of the guards spots them and calls out, Prince, General Zhao, what are you doing? What are you two doing here? Our guy is just yawning. Linger jumps in quickly, assuring everyone, I've already taken care of the thief. There's nothing to worry about. Zhou Qian adds, false alarm. Everyone, let's head back and grab some BDQ. General Lu Yan warns him, Prince, there are bandits in these mountains. It's not safe to stay here. He shrugs and says, if you mean those bandits, they're all dead. This little girl here took care of them. A bunch of weaklings. One of the soldiers whispers to her friend, oh my god, this prince is such a moron. He's calling the great general a little girl. But Xiao and Linger are already walking away. Londi. Linger turns back and instructs the other guards to get moving. They all stand there, stunned, wondering why the general is listening to him. Cut to our protagonist roasting their friends, delivering sharp and witty comebacks that leave everyone in stitches. The atmosphere is filled with laughter as they skillfully navigate the playful banter, showcasing their quick wit and charm. His little pig is happy as can be. Linger arrives sweet as ever, bringing him a small knife to carve with. She sits right beside him, eagerly waiting for another tasty bite. The other soldiers whisper to one another, realizing it's over. The general has lost his mind. Xiao turns to Linger and asks, hey, do you know who those guys were that captured us? She replies that the leader of the group with the scar is Liang Shu, who was supposed to be executed a year ago. Executed? Xiao blinks in surprise. For what? She asks. It was during my coming-of-age ceremony. He raises an eyebrow. Coming of age? Wait, how old are you? She blushes slightly. Xiaoho stares in disbelief. 16 years old and talking about decapitations like it's nothing. Your mom must be out of her mind. She lets out a nervous laugh and nods. Then she warns him, now that you're with the Empress, you're going to be hunted too. One of the mounted guards says, Prince, it would be safer if you stayed in the carriage. You'll be safer at the palace. He agrees without hesitation. You're right. I'll relax in the palace, enjoying food and drink in peace. The guards quietly wonder if he is really that afraid of dying. Xiao is already running ahead, shouting, let's check out the palace. The gossip begins just behind him, with some of the girls whispering that Linear is too clingy with the prince. Are they suggesting she has feelings for Heinem or something? As they stroll along the mountain path, Xiao turns to her and says, Hey, I overheard the other girls talking about something called a blood cloud. What's that all about? Linear snaps, clearly annoyed. Those damn guards just can't keep their mouths shut. She explains that the blood cloud is a relentless force attacking our empire, which is why everyone is compelled to pay protection taxes. Xia frowns, confused by the mention of protection taxes. What could that possibly mean? She goes on to explain the shady deal. Corrupt politicians have been charging people for protection from the blood cloud tribe. They fail to take any real action to protect the people. Instead, they simply pocket the money. This seems like a classic move from South American politicians. To make matters worse, there's talk of removing the Empress from power because she opposes everything. This puts her husband, seen as useless, in the position of a walking target. Xiaohu quenches his fist, realizing that his entire system is rigged. He then turns to Linear and asks, if the Empress finds out I'm actually strong, is she going to make me start working? Linear responds without hesitation. Xia contemplates the situation. If these attackers come for the city and target him, he will eventually have to reveal his true abilities. If he holds back, the consequences could be devastating for everyone. If a war breaks out because of me, she'll likely divorce me or kick me out. He scowls. No way. I'll handle those blood cloud guys before they mess up my laid-back lifestyle. Linear stares at him, bewildered. Wait, that's what you're worried about. They continue walking through the forest, and Linear remarks that it's impossible to find them. They have a fortress hidden away somewhere. Our boy, fully in Shia shade mode, says, Blondie, then casually scoops her into his arms and launches himself into the air. The sky looms above, and the poor girl is completely stunned. They rely solely on their physical strength and skills. Meanwhile, he's flying at incredible speed with her in his arms. Her arms flail as she screams in total panic. Her movements slow down. The system chimes in. Master, you need to reduce speed immediately, or she's going to die. A bit later, he finally lands in the middle of nowhere and calmly says, We're here. Linear, hair tousled and feeling dizzy, croaks, Here. But where is Hair? The prince winds up his arm and prepares to throw the spear with all his might. Punches collide with an invisible wall. Boom! Everything shatters and suddenly, a hidden floating base materializes right in front of Linear. She gasps, realizing this is why no one could ever find it. It's a cloaked, floating fortress. Our brave protagonist strides in and instructs Linear to follow him. She nods but asks what the plan is for this secret infiltration. Shrugs again. There is no secret infiltration. The next thing you know, he jumps directly to the front, the doors of the main hall with her. You're insane, she mutters. Inside, a tall, imposing woman greets them. Her face is unfamiliar to me, but Trump doesn't wait. An explosion occurs. He begins slicing through people left and right. Suddenly, more enemies emerge behind him, and among them, Walmart Goku has joined the fray. Linear recognizes him immediately. He's one of the top assassins from the Blood Tower. The guy looks at Sha Tian and sneers. So the Empress's laptop has come to see me. Wow, even Sha didn't see that insult coming. That was ruthless. The Blood Tower goons quickly begin whispering their plans. The Empress is off in the north. Let's send her his head. However, Shao, no fool, quickly realizes the truth. They know too much. There is definitely a spy within the city. Free shipping, Goku says. I've been dying to see the power of this so-called weakling prince. But at that very moment, he feels it, the pressure. Xiao Tian's aura looms over them, immense and suffocating. Just one cold look shifted the atmosphere, tension hanging thick in the air. Half of them dropped to the floor, trembling. Goku clutched his head in desperation, realizing that this was all just a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding, Xiao said calmly. I just wanted a peaceful, lazy life, but you sent people to hunt me down. Now, I have no choice but to destroy everything. He charged up for the classic punch, and boom! The entire room is vaporized. Walmart Goku has vanished without a trace. The remaining survivors begin to panic. Who was the fool that claimed this prince was weak? Xiaoho reaches for Linger's hand and smiles. You okay, little lady? She stands there, dumbfounded. He truly has no idea how powerful he is, does he? Are you seriously going to destroy the entire blood clan? She asks. Of course I am, he replies. Next stop is their main base. I want to be. He made sure to be home by dinner. With that, he punches through their warehouse, scattering gold coins everywhere. Without hesitation, he dives in like a man possessed. They ruined my nap, he mutters. This is Linger watches. And although she understands, she still asks, isn't this a bit much? That money feels dirty. He responds that it's the price they pay for trying to corrupt our city. You don't have a problem with that, do you? She laughs nervously, and no, it's not. Then he grabs a powerful talisman from the rubble and tosses it to her. She catches it deftly, her eyes scanning the area for any signs of danger. Flinching, W asks, wait, why are you using such a high-level talisman on me? He replies that their base is quite far from here. I need to go at full speed, so you'll need that to make it through the trip. What do you mean by survive the trip? Before he picks her up again. And Zia won't, and they're off. Even with the talisman, she's enduring great suffering. It's far too much to bear. In just a few seconds, they crash land at the enemy base. Linger is completely devastated. Shu sniffs the air and instantly detects the scent of blood. In an instant, 10 men surround them. 2 of them step forward. Who dares set foot in our sacred base? They sneer. Linger freezes, their auras radiating terror. Suddenly, an old man appears, the lord of the blood tribe. Linger whispers that he is the force behind it all. Sho raises an eyebrow and asks, do you have a problem with the Yang dynasty, or... The man scoffs and replies, I do. But you're just the useless prince. You don't matter to me. Though I must admit, breaking through our defense array indicates you've got something powerful, probably a rare artifact. Then, without missing a beat, he shouts, kill! Just then, the guide, who is apparently someone else's husband, raises his hand and says, I'll take care of him. Linger turns to our protagonist, a look of concern on her face. Be careful, that's Skull Splitter Huan Gang. Sha Tian squints, taking in the warning. That name sounds like a bluff. He's already plotting, knowing he has to eliminate everyone. If anyone escapes, the word will spread that he's the real deal. Huan steps up, standing face to face with our boy. I didn't expect the prince to have any strength, he says, but he doesn't elaborate. He then turns to the leader of the blood tribe and asks, if I go all out, will you call a healer afterward? The old man replies, don't worry about holding back, just don't kill him. Huan stares at Kyogang, taking in his small, pretty face, skinny frame, and long legs. So this is the type of guy the Empress prefers. Alright, Huan, you're observant, but you're giving off some very specific vibes here. One of his goons warns, careful man, don't kill him with one punch. Another laughs, he's probably already peeing himself from fear. Xiao Tian calmly points to his own. Hit me right on the forehead. Everyone froze. What just happened? Scared. That triggers Huan. He throws a punch straight at Xiaoho's face. Everyone's eyes widen in surprise. Naturally, our boy comes through as expected. He stops the punch with just one finger. Xiao smirks and says, what's wrong, bro? You didn't eat today. Come on, put some strength into it. Huan throws another object. Punch. Once more, it was halted with a single blow. Xiao simply wags his finger at him, signaling that it's still not enough. Huan continues to swing. Fists were flying as hands began to clash. Xiao unleashes a burst of aura, creating a powerful impact. Wham! Huan's body crashes into the wall, leaving his hand completely mangled. Xiao remarks, I have to say, I admire your technique. You almost knocked yourself out with those punches. In the background, someone is complaining. Damn it, the intelligence division again. Who claimed this guy was weak? Our prince even feels sorry for him. The poor guy is literally crying from how badly he was beaten. But Shai suddenly realizes the guys from the other towers are here as well. He isn't allowing anyone to escape. It's time to unleash the chaos. Punches fly 4 in total. Everyone is involved. The room erupts into chaos as people scream. In disbelief, one wonders, is he even human? Everyone tries to flee. Some begin to run in different directions, while others look for places to hide, vanishing. On the floor, a blood tower guy mutters prayers, pleading for just one of them to escape. The world needs to know about this monster. But there was no chance. Xiao, it appears right in front of someone, delivers a few slaps, and then bodies begin to evaporate. No survivors. Then, the silence was palpable, a haunting reminder of the devastation that had just unfolded. She appears, the ultimate threat to any man, a total bombshell. Even she seems stunned. I've never seen anyone so unmatched in martial skill. If you spare me, she purrs, I'll serve at your side for life. No one knows her true identity, but everyone recognizes her power. She is the queen of seduction, and no man escapes her allure. Her methods are nothing short of captivating. except that halfway through the aerobics, she eats people's hearts, so it's slightly dangerous. But the real issue is that she's far too beautiful. Our prince might genuinely fall for her. However, our boy unleashes a devastating aura and declares, "You're a twisted woman with a filthy mind." She drops to her knees, sobbing. "What do you want me to do, my lord?" Xiao replies, "I don't mind you begging, but if the Empress discovers that I was even near someone like you, she'll divorce me, and I'll lose my comfortable lifestyle." Before she can say another word, he punches her square in the chest. She survives only because of her, a natural airbag. Turning to Linger, he proudly declares, "See, I'm a loyal man. If anyone asks, make sure to tell them. I was very upset about this." Linger, completely unfazed, asks, "What are you even talking about?" He crosses his arms and says, "You're too young to understand. Just forget it." Linger begins to admire him once more. He is not only strong, but also mentally resilient, unshakable. Not even she could seduce him. Then Xiao said, "Only one left." Meanwhile, concealed in a hidden location, the Blood Tribe leader is curled up in thought, questioning, who said this guy was weak? This guy isn't from a typical realm. I can't even begin to gauge what level he's on. He assumes that Xiao must have used some rare treasure to gain entry into the fortress. It had to be something like that, rather than just raw power. The old man lets out a sigh of relief, believing the monster has finally departed. But guess who appears right behind him? That's right, our boy, face to face. The old man freezes. Xiao says, "You look like a child hiding under the bed." The man vanishes in an instant. The tribe leader laughs from behind. "He fell right into my trap. This entire place is about to explode. There's no way he can survive." The prince swiftly grabs the leader of the Blood Tribe by the neck and declares, "Where are you headed? We're not finished yet. Let's turn back." Back at the base, he introduces the guy to Ling Ye and says, "Can you believe this guy was hiding under a bed?" Ling Ye, completely confused, asks, "Wait, isn't he the leader of the assassins?" Barely able to speak, the man gasps for breath. "I suppressed my spiritual energy, slowed my breathing, and controlled my heartbeat." "How did you find me?" he asks. Xiao Tian shrugs casually. "Easy. I just listened to the blood flowing through your veins." They both freeze, suddenly aware of the eerie silence around them. That makes a sound? "No way," Xiao says. "Enough. I answered your question. Now it's your turn. Why are you targeting the Empress's dynasty?" The leader starts sweating profusely. "If you promise to spare me, I'll tell you," he pleads. A second later, the guy is already disconnected from the realm of the living. Ling Jai simply stares, taken aback. Wow, he didn't hesitate at all. Poor guy. Can I go home now? In the next scene, the assassin's base lies submerged at the bottom of a lake. How did Xiao do it? Who knows? But let's take a closer look. This guy is essentially a 9-foot-tall Chuck Norris. He turns to Ling Yai and says, "Let's go. It's dinner time." She smiles, filled with curiosity. How can he be this strong? But Xiao interrupts her. "That's enough curiosity, Blondie." She nods nervously. Then he pats her on the head and says that kids just need to listen to adults. That's all. Blushing, Ling Yai pouting, she insists. "I'm not a kid," Xiao responds with a grin. "All right, fine. You're a grown woman now." "Great, now let's go. I'm starving." As they walk, she can't stop thinking about the fight. How did he hear the guy's blood flow? Then the royal guards discover their location. Xiao clutches his chest and dramatically exclaims, "Thank goodness you helped me find that token. If I'd lost it, the Empress would have been devastated." Ling Ye glances at him skeptically, wondering how he can lie so effortlessly without even a blink. Meanwhile, our boys were only concerned about one thing. During dinner, one of the knights expresses regret for not being present and leaving Ling Ye to deal with this foolish prince. However, Ling Ye defends him, feeling a bit embarrassed. "Don't say that about the prince. Let him be who he is." The knight narrows her eyes, suspicious. Why is Ling Ye defending him so fervently? She mourns, "So be cautious. These Blood Tribe bastards are reckless, and while I don't care what happens to the prince, I don't want you to end up like my husband." Ling Ye softly replies, "Your husband was a hero. If he hadn't faced the Blood Tribe alone, he might have survived." The knight begins to tear up. The Blood Tribe will soon vanish. He stands off to the side, thinking to himself, "Yes, I did something good today, didn't I? May he rest in peace." The guards are all giving him strange looks. What's wrong with this prince? Is he losing his mind? The next morning, Ling Ye rushes out of the house. Her dad calls out, asking why the rush. "I am heading to the palace to fulfill my duty," she shouts back, and he notices her outfit. "What are you wearing?" Blushing, she explains, "I'm going to the palace to take care of the prince. The Empress asked me to." He snaps, frustrated. "There are guards at the palace. There's no need to babysit that lazy bum who only thinks about pleasure." Ling Ye retorts, "You've never even met the prince, so stop judging him." Before he can react, she's already out the door. He stands there, momentarily stunned, trying to process what just happened. She stands there, stunned. Just yesterday morning, she hated being assigned to watch over him. Now, she woke up early and even dressed up to see him. Something feels off. In the palace courtyard, our hero lounges, pampered by ladies feeding him snacks while he watches anime. It's a tough life indeed. Nearby, knights seethe with anger. While the Empress battles in the north, he lives as if retired, pondering how appealing that life seems. Suddenly, one knight freezes in place. Major General, imagine if she showed up today dressed like that. Everyone would be stunned. No one has ever seen the general dressed like this before. Our boy looks up and says, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here, little miss?" She replies awkwardly, "The Empress told me to look after you. I'm just doing my job." Annoyed, he waves her away. "Go away. You're ruining my vibe. I don't need protection." He's anxious that she might make a mistake and reveal his true power. If that occurs, he will have the knight stand by, thinking that this prince is fooling around with the major now. He's completely lost his mind. She steps forward and declares, "I'm not leaving. I'm staying here with you. That's a direct order from the Empress, and I won't disobey it." One of the guards behind her is panicking. "Oh no, someone has broken her mentally. I need to report this to the general. This prince, he's charming everyone around him. First, he wins over the Empress, and now he's making an impression on the major as well. Meanwhile, our boy is just chilling, completely relaxed, unbothered. A while later, one of the knights rushes in. We just witnessed an island plummeting from the sky. The skeptical warrior who had doubted our protagonist begins to reconsider. Could it have been the Blood Tribe's base? Perhaps that's why it was never discovered. Linye approaches and asks what's going on. The woman replies, "Major General, it appears that one of the Blood Tribe's bases has collapsed." She simply responds, "Oh, okay." And the girls exchange glances, each one silently asking, "Wait, what? Is that your reaction? Major, are you really shocked?" Her slip, Linye quickly corrected. "Oh my goodness, no way. The base has fallen. Who could have done such a thing?" Meanwhile, our prince slices into a watermelon, thinking to himself that she's terrible at lying. No one is buying it. One of the knights appears confused. It's good news, but she still doesn't understand. Linye asks her, "Why aren't you happy? Isn't this vengeance for your husband?" The knight sighs, expressing his concern. "I'm just worried. Yes, one of their bases was destroyed, but it crashed in our territory. What if the leader of their main base comes here? What would happen if the king of assassins appeared?" Meanwhile, Sha and Linye are giggling in the corner. Now the knight is completely lost. Why are they laughing? This is serious. She feels a mix of confusion and frustration as the laughter echoes around her. Snaps. "Major, why are you laughing? This is a life and death situation for the dynasty. Are you only thinking about the prince at this moment?" Linye is caught off guard. "What are you talking about?" Just as she's about to explain, Shea suddenly smacks her lightly on the back of the head. "I heard everything from back there. You're smiling while we're in the midst of a national crisis? You need to start taking this seriously." Embarrassed, Linye mumbles that she nearly revealed his secret. The knight is frozen, stunned by the sight of Lingjie being struck down by the prince. Xiaoho rests a hand on her shoulder and says, "Commander Liu, the Yan dynasty is prosperous. No matter how tough things get, we will overcome it, so try not to worry too much." The knight opens her mouth to speak, but he interrupts her. "I still have a few things to teach her, so return to your duties." He gives her a stern look. "You heard me. Back to work." Then they walk off with Lingjie and Tao. The knights stand in disbelief, wondering what is happening with the major. She's following his orders even though she's only known him for 2 days. One of them mutters that this is way worse than expected. "We need to report this to the Grand General immediately." Cut to Xiao and Lingjie on a bridge. He begins his lecture, telling her that she just doesn't understand. He just wants to relax, so she needs to be smarter, keep quiet, and stop saying foolish things. Lingjie, feeling embarrassed, says, "Sorry, I won't do it again." He replies, "Sorry doesn't fix anything. Stop acting like an idiot." She lets out a small sigh. She sighs and drops to her knees. "Please, let me be your disciple. I want to be as strong as you one day." But Xiao turns his back to her, already raising a hand as if to wave goodbye. "I don't even know how I became this strong." She gasps, "What do you mean? You're incredibly powerful. How can you not know how to train?" She jumps in front of him. "I'm an adult. Please teach me. I'm not a kid." He calmly states, "I'm not lying. There's nothing I can teach you." He walks away as the system pings and calls for one of his ladies to come and feed him. Half a month later, our boy is enjoying himself in the mountains, where he has roasted a little pig and is living life to the fullest. Just then, a young warrior runs in to report that it's confirmed. The Blood Tribe's main base has been destroyed by that mysterious man. Skull Splitter, the Seduction Queen, and even the Grand Chief, all their bodies were discovered. The general clenches her jaw. "I spent the entire month under immense stress. They thought they would attack us at any moment, but now they are already gone." A little later, she is seen holding her husband's soul crystal, and she breaks into tears, smiling even as she cries. At last, someone has avenged him. Linye turns to our protagonist and thanks him once more. He's shrugging. "I said, it wasn't me. It was probably someone else. If you want to show your gratitude, how about cutting up this meat for me?" With a pouty expression, she picks up the small knife and begins slicing it with the precision of a dedicated assistant. But our boy simply glances at the general in the distance, observing her as she cries, Scene change. In the middle of nowhere, a portal suddenly opens. Two shady figures step out. Boss, is this the Yan dynasty? One of them asks. Yeah, that's right, the boss replies. They say someone here destroyed the Blood Tribe's main base, and we came to find out who did it. As far as we know, no one in this land should possess that kind of strength, so we're going to do some digging. The scene shifts to the northern border. The general and the Empress stand tall together. They are fully prepared for battle. At that moment, a messenger arrives bearing a letter from the imperial city. Because it arrived by courier, the news is delayed. Only, they are now learning that the Blood Tribe's first base has fallen. The Empress notices a side note in the letter. It seems that Lin Ye has been dressing with extra care each day and refuses to leave Xiao Tian's side. The Empress pauses, considering her next move. She didn't think he had that kind of charm. A tiny version of herself appears in her mind, thinking, well, he's kind of cute, but it doesn't matter how cute he is. He can't be doing that. Meanwhile, the Grand General is fuming. As Lin Ye's mother, she declares, I won't let this slide. My daughter is flirting with the Empress's prince, but there are complications ahead. Right then, a group of barbarians appears on the scene. Horizon is led by a mysterious and unsettling old summoner. The general grits her teeth and says, I'll deal with them. Empress, you take care of the old man while the battle begins. Magic is flying, and weapons are clashing. Chaos surrounds us. The Empress leaps toward the summoner and says coldly, so you've chosen death. The old man replies sadly, I'm just here to bring more prosperity to the barbarians. She shakes her head, lamenting the situation. What a shame. You'll bring about their end. With a swift motion, she slices. You should never have left your city. Without the great blessing, you stand no chance against me. The old man steps back, beginning to understand that she truly is as strong as they say. He begins casting a bizarre spell on his skull, sealing some kind of power within it. The Empress narrows her eyes. If that power is sealed, you won't be able to use it. He smirks, questioning the point. I have already been compensated by the Palace of the Black Soul. As long as I keep you here, the Swamp Elder should be arriving in your dynasty shortly. It's unfortunate. By morning, the entire Yan capital will be reduced to ashes. Below, the general is overwhelmed by relentless waves of barbarians. The Empress shouts, Don't come up here! Just hold the wall! She begins to power up in a Dragon Ball style, attempting to break free from the summoner chuckles. Truly worthy of your title, Empress, even now, you refuse to succumb to fear. But it won't make a difference. Your city is doomed. The scene shifts back. Our boy happily strolls through the forest, his belly full. But of course, he's already thinking about more food. Come on, man, at this rate, you are going to turn into Majin Buu. The girls look at him, puzzled. Didn't you just eat? One of them asks. I digest fast, he replies. Is always ready for another meal. He glances toward the horizon, scanning for the next snack stop. Hey, gasp, Lin Ye. Where's your general friend? The one who's always around? She went to get some wine for you, your highness. He raises an eyebrow. She went to that city? The one her husband defended? Lin Ye nods, confirming that she made the decision on her own. I hope you won't be mad. She takes off her wig. I'm not that cruel, he adds. If the city has good wine, they probably have good food too. Let's head there. But you girls should stay behind, he says. If she returns with the wine and finds no one here, she'll freak out. The knights immediately objected, insisting, No way! Our mission is to protect you. The prince waves them off. Nimid, I've got this little girl here protecting me. He turns his back on everyone and says, Adios. Scene shift. In the city, a bustling atmosphere fills the streets as people go about their daily lives. The sounds of traffic and chatter blend together, creating a vibrant backdrop. Skyscrapers tower overhead, casting shadows on the sidewalks below, where vendors sell their goods and friends gather to catch up. The energy is palpable, reflecting the heartbeat of urban life. The poor soul is being beaten down. She stands her ground against 200 attackers who have come to strike the Yan dynasty. She quickly realizes that the Hall of the Black Soul is collaborating with the barbarian kingdom to undermine us. The old man from the Black Soul Hall and his disciple stand there, watching. The elder ignores her and turns to his disciple, instructing him to finish this. We need to begin the blood sacrifice collection in the city. The disciple licks his lips and says, Relax, master. I'll end her in one strike. He draws his sword, aiming for a quick, painless death, targeting her neck. However, at the last moment, she manages to block his attack, and they are both thrown back. Undeterred, he charges again and stomps down on her shoulder. Say goodbye to the sword. It all comes down to this. The warrior reflects on her husband. I will never betray the empire. And then, just like that, it happened. The man was soaring through the air like a rag doll. She stands there, eyes closed, contemplating why the final blow never arrived. Then she hears a voice asking, "What do you think you're doing to my guard?" She opens her eyes, completely confused. "Prince, what are you doing here?" Shu asks. But ignoring her, he turns to Linger. "Take this freak." Without hesitation, she lunges forward with a vertical slash. The warrior simply stares. For a moment, I believe the prince had saved me. But of course, it was the general. Shu grins and asks, "Where did you find some wine? What are you doing out here in the cold, woman?" He gently grabs her chin and rewards her with some pills he retrieved from dismantling the previous organization. She's stunned. Perhaps this prince isn't so bad after all. That's number 5. Folks, one more heart has fallen for our boy. She informs him that this man is from the Dark Soul Hall and is known as the Poison Elder. "We need to get out of here. He'll kill you," Shu warns as she turns to the system. "Is this guy strong?" The system responds with certainty. "He has mastered countless poisons." Shu frowns, realizing that they all appear to have the same potency. The system replies, "That's because, to you, everyone appears weak. There's no visible difference anymore." And now, the system reveals the real news. That guy is at the 8th level of awakening, while she lingers at level 3. This means she's going to lose. But right behind him is the general. If Shu takes any serious action now, she'll discover just how strong he truly is. That means she'll inform the Empress, and then he'll have to face the consequences. This poor, lazy genius is going through mental gymnastics just to avoid working. The general steps forward. "Prince, don't worry. I won't let you die." Shu's inner thoughts reveal a deep frustration. Poor thing. I would love to hit him so hard that he disappears from this world. He says aloud, "You just took the pill. Are you sure you want to die already?" She glances down at her arms, now fully healed. All her wounds have vanished. "He provided me with very expensive medicine." She picks up a fallen sword. "Even if we are only buying time, the situation remains critical. The Empress may arrive soon to seek vengeance for us all." However, Linger's aura spikes as she awakens her sword intent. Shu turns to the general. "Is that good?" she asks, nodding in stunned agreement. With her sword intent, she knows she can't lose. The disciple is furious. How did she awaken the sword intent? He rushes at her, slashing wildly, but she dodges effortlessly. "Your sword technique is lacking. This is my opportunity." A swift slash cut right through the chest. The man falls to the ground. Linger snarls, "How can someone like you have the audacity to pick a fight? You'll pay for it with your life." She lifts her blade. Suddenly, a purple magic circle illuminates, blocking the path. An attack unfolds as a dark mist erupts, releasing a cloud of poison gas. 2 enormous snakes erupted from it. Linger stumbles back. She dropped her sword. She's already been poisoned, but fortunately, she managed to escape just in time. The old man chuckles. "You're quite bold, dropping your sword instead of seizing the chance to run. It's unfortunate that you're stuck here, guarding this worthless prince. He only succeeded in life because of his good looks." Lingers is already smiling to herself, feeling a sense of pity. Fools. They have no idea just how terrifying the prince truly is. But the prince seems eager for a fight. Pulling off an Oscar-worthy performance, Yao Tian steps forward and says, "Hold on, old man. I know who you are. I'm willing to share all the Empress's secrets. I just want to live." The general gasps in shock. "Your Highness, what are you doing?" But Lingers grabs her arm and whispers, "Don't worry. The prince knows exactly what he's doing. There are some things I can't share with you just yet." The guard pauses to think, but then her thoughts take a sudden, irrational turn. The old man pauses. "Secrets about the Empress, you say? If the secret is worth it, I'll let you live." Shaha nods. "That's fine, but let them go ahead first. Even if I don't survive, at least 2 people will be safe." The general is taken aback. "Wait, is he trying to protect us first?" She steps forward and says, "Your Excellency, it's our duty to protect you. Tell me the secret. I'll stay, and you can leave." Xia continues to act, confessing, "I'm afraid to die, and that's why I'm snitching." But the response comes firmly, "You're not. You'll keep your mouth shut." In his mind, he urged her, "Come on, just follow the script and move on." However, the old man refuses. "The only way this will work is if you reveal the secret. Right now, if I like it, everyone survives." Linear face bombs are causing frustration for the general. Meanwhile, Xiao is smiling like a clown. Suddenly, he releases a surge of energy. The old man is stunned. The ground splits apart. Mountains split in 2. The landscape transformed dramatically, revealing deep valleys and rugged cliffs that showcase nature's raw power. The old man falls flat on his back, filled with terror. Xiao turns off the aura and approaches slowly. "You're not understanding, are you? I don't want to reveal my power. Is that an issue?" The old man simply stares. Out of nowhere, Xiao slaps him across the face and demands, "Answer me." The elder begins to tremble. Sorry, Lord. Xiao snaps. I'm in my 20s. I'm out of Lord. Smack. Another slap. Okay, now I feel bad. Poor grandpa is getting bullied. The old man lowers his head. I apologize, my lord, he says softly. Xiao cups his ear and replies, didn't hear that. Louder. The man screams, my lord. Smack. Smack. 2 more slaps. Sha. So now yelling is just the same as speaking louder? Honestly, at this point, it seems like he just enjoys slapping this guy. The general stands frozen, completely stunned. Why isn't the old man fighting back? Linear leans in and whispers that the prince is truly strong, but the Empress must not find out. The general immediately understands. This explains everything and clarifies why she's been acting so. Xiao Tian is now powerful. The guard inquires about the day at the Blood Tower, and Linear nods in agreement, confirming the events. They discuss the mysterious man who destroyed the Blood Tower. That was him. The general stares at Shadow in total disbelief. Then she sees something. Something strange is happening beneath the old man. She shouts, move, get away from there. But the old man just smirks. Late. A swamp of poison spreads beneath him. Goodbye, Prince. This is my swamp. After years of creation, you'll burn here for eternity. This magic cost me 30 years of my life. However, now you will die. First, your flesh will melt away. Then your bones will crumble to ash, and you'll suffer slowly. The deeper you sink, the worse it becomes. The old man has fully embraced his Joker persona now. Even the strongest among us can't survive this. The guard panics and exclaims, General, we have to save him. However, Linear intervenes and halts her. No, you don't understand. Stay out of his way. He's much stronger than you realize. The guard remains uncertain until, suddenly, boom, Xiao Tian strolls out of the swamp, completely unharmed. Woo, this is great, he says. You burned 30 years of your life just to give me a spa exfoliation? This was supposed to be corrosive. Come on. He glances over. He notices that the old man's disciple is still present. The man collapses in fear, pleading, T, don't come near me. Xia grabs him by the collar. You also need to take care of your skin. The man pulls out a knife and lunges to stab him in the face. The blade shatters into pieces, and he stares in shock. What just happened? Why did it break? Shaho simply shrugs. T throws him into the swamp, and the man begins to dissolve immediately. Shaho tilts his head, realizing, so it really was corrosive. Remaining calm, he scoops up some of the poison and fashions a face mask from it. The old man can only point at him, utterly confused. Xiao turns to Ling Ye and asks, well, what do you think, little lady? Do I look a bit younger? She deadpans in response. Prince, why are you worried about your looks right now? He grins and says, girl, you don't understand anything. I have to look extra good to seduce the Empress. Smiling, he turns back to the old man. By the way, how many years do you think you have left? The elder blinks in confusion. Duo, what do you mean? Smiling from ear to ear, he expresses just how much he enjoyed it. He asks the old man how much more he can create. If I give you an item that extends your life, could you produce more of this? The old man continues to tremble, pointing at En and calling him a monster. He adds that a scholar like him can be killed, but was never dishonored. In a moment of despair, he slaps his own head and takes his own life. Our boy scratches his head, completely bewildered. Why did he take his own life? The girls stand there in disbelief. The prince turns to them and says, I was being so honest with him. Was all of that really necessary? They all have that classic blank expression. No, it truly wasn't. Linger suggests they should destroy the body to ensure that no one discovers what happened. The other guard agrees. He emphasizes the urgent need to eliminate the poison swamp. Unfortunately, when the prince unleashed his aura early, splitting the mountains in half, covering our tracks will be tricky. Xie Qian asks Lingore, if we keep walking this way, are we headed toward the Great Yan dynasty? Xian nods, yes. Your Highness, what is it that you wish to do? I simply want to dispose of the corpses as you requested. Thudi throws a punch. They shut their eyes. Oh, then he just blows up. He exhaled sharply, and just like that, a tornado formed. Your Highness, they inquire, was all of that truly necessary? Xiao shrugs and says, well, now that everything's completely changed, I'm pretty sure no trace is left. He erased entire mountains, leveled the battlefield, and left behind nothing but a flat plain. The general says to the prince, you can't just go changing the entire world. He replies that no one is going to miss those mountains anyway, and at least the poison swamp is buried now. They stand there, hands on their faces, as if to say, Prince, that's not how this works. Then, suddenly, he jumps a bit. He remembers that there's a city right next door. They probably won't miss those mountains. The guard assures him that it's fine, explaining that there's a protective barrier around the city which prevents anyone from seeing what's happening outside. He sighs in relief. For a moment, he thought his lazy life was coming to an end. He waves goodbye to the guard and says, "I'm heading back. Don't forget the wine, okay?" She watches him leave. This prince truly is one of a kind. Despite his immense power, all he seems to care about is maintaining the facade of being useless. She touches the shoulder of an illusion of her husband, who closely resembles Xiao Tian. The scene shifts to the bustling city, where people are running around in a frenzy. Panic sets in as the enemies from the Dark Soul Hall approach. Suddenly, they halt and scan their surroundings. Wait, where are the mountains? Weren't there mountains here just moments ago? The guard arrives and says to the mayor, "Everything's fine now. You can go back." The mayor walks away, scratching his head. "I could have sworn there were mountains right there." On the way home, Linnea can't stop talking about everything the prince has done. She even mentions that he was able to hear blood flows through a man's body as the general raises an eyebrow. He seems to be listening intently, suggesting he might have overheard our conversation behind him. Xiao Tian chimes in. "Of course I heard you. You're always saying I seduced Her Majesty with my manly charms, and that even though I already had a whole bucket, I still wanted to scoop from the pot. This clearly implies that I have the Empress, but I'm also pursuing Linear." Linear drops to her knees. "I'm sorry. It will never happen again." He laughs. "And it's fine. I don't really care about that." Then Linear blinks. "Wait, my own guard was gossiping about me in my own home." The guard freezes. "Oh no, she just realized she sent that message." Seeing a shift, at Linear's house, our boy is present. "All right, it's time to go home now." She pouts. "I don't want to. I want to have dinner with you." Xiao groans in response. "No, that's enough. You've been having dinner at the palace every day, while your dad yells at me every night. And I'm done with that," the guard mutters. Honestly, the prince's hearing is something else. Linear approaches with a charming demeanor. "Come on, your excellency. Let me spend some time at the palace." Please, don't be so dull. Xiao pulls his arm away and says, "Stop following me. You really need to learn to appreciate your father. I didn't have a mom or dad when I was your age. I was adopted and had to learn to wield a weapon early on." He gently patted her on the back as if she were a child. "You don't realize how blessed you are." Both of them are caught off guard. Then he turns around, raises a hand, and says, "Good night." The prince departs. Linear stands there awkwardly and says, "All right, I'll go home then." Xiao turns back and gives her a gentle pat on the head. With a warm smile, he says, "Good girl, now go home." Just then, her father shows up and asks, "What are you doing?" "Prince, as Her Majesty's husband, how can you be so inappropriate with other women?" The guard intervenes immediately, asserting that Sir Zhang, the prince, and the general are completely innocent. He demands to know how anyone could dare to make such vile accusations. Feeling awkward, the man stammers, No, that's not what I mean." Another woman chimes in, "Sir Zhang, you're married to the Grand General. You hold a high position. You shouldn't be accusing the prince like that." "All right. He's married to that muscle-bound warrior woman who is fighting alongside the Empress up north." The man is completely crushed now and is beginning to suspect that the guard has probably fallen under Xiao Tian's charm as well. The general speaks up, clarifying, "I think you're misunderstanding the situation. All I'm saying is that it's not right to judge the prince that way." Lingye adds, "For your information, the prince was actually convincing me to stay home and spend more time with you." He's hunched over, trying to explain. "No, sweetie, that's not what Our boy waves him off. "Well, this is a family matter, isn't it, Mr. Zhang? I'll leave you to it." Oof. Then Ye and the guard both leave with him, leaving poor Mr. Zhang just standing there. What in the world is going on? The situation with the southern refugees remains unresolved, and now his daughter is behaving like this. But before he can proceed, in the blink of an eye, all three of them are back, staring him down. Next thing you know, he's preparing a feast for our Lingier, explains that his dad has always been this way. Although he was never a great martial artist, he used his sneaky charm to win over Lingier's mom. In addition to that, he's the best cook in the entire kingdom. The old man flicks her on the head and says, "How dare you talk about your father like that?" He glances at Xiao Tian and wonders why his daughter is so nervous around this prince. "You know what? It's probably best not to ask." He raises a glass. "This wine is in honor of your highness. Please accept my apology for the things I said earlier. My Linjie can be quite a handful, and lately, she's been bothering you a lot." Xiao Tian brushes it off, saying it's fine. Let's continue. He gives the old man a thumbs up and says, "Your food really is incredible." Now that's the life he just keeps on eating. Mr. Zhang sits quietly, lost in thought. No one would ever suspect that this slender prince has such a hearty appetite. Xia Tian suddenly glances at him, prompting the man to quickly attempt to appear casual. "Prince, if you have something on your mind, please don't hesitate to share. Speak freely." Our guy says, "Well, Mr. Zhang, I do have one request." Mr. Zhang replies, "Go ahead, your highness." Our guy continues, "Would it be all right if I came over more often to eat eat and drink here? Zhang thought to himself. This brat? I only cooked this to apologize, and now he wants me, a government minister, to become his personal chef. No way. Then Xiao Tian slams down. He places his hand on the table and tosses out a ring. Inside are 1 million spirit stones, intended to help with the refugee crisis. As soon as Mr. Zhang hears the words South, his entire attitude changes. Prince, what would you like to eat tomorrow? Just tell me, and I'll gather the ingredients right away. He points at his daughter and says, "You're buying me a chef's uniform tomorrow." The women stand there, baffled, unsure of what just happened. Zhang reflects on his biggest challenge, the refugee issue. With this kind of money, he realizes he can solve it immediately. Sure, I'll become a chef. Why not, he thinks, as he picks up the spirit stones, turning them over in his hands. Are you certain it's safe to use these? He's beginning to suspect that Xiao Tian stole them from the Empress. The prince replies, "Relax, that was payment from someone who insulted me." Zhang raises an eyebrow. "Someone insulted you and had this much money?" Xiao just shrugs, responding. He leans in and whispers, "Just don't let Her Majesty find out about this, all right?" Zhang nods in understanding. "I'll keep this secret," he says, acknowledging the challenge. Wu breathes a sigh of relief. You have no idea how hard it was to get that. Now the old man believes that Xiao Tian was tortured and ransomed. Truly, great prince, you have endured so much for this empire. I'm truly grateful for your dedication. Shaho replies, "If you really want to thank me, cook more delicious meals." Of course, comes the response. The prince states, "Now that's settled, I want to know what you plan to do with the funds." Zhang states that he plans to buy food and construct housing for the homeless refugees. But the prince interrupts, saying it's not worth it. You'll spend a fortune, and it won't last. Why don't we use the money to create jobs? Zhang asks, looking confused. What exactly do you mean? Shah responds. These refugee gangs have everything except one crucial element, structure. Therefore, the solution is to hire them and provide them with real organization. Put all those gang members to work repairing bridges, fixing roads, and restoring farms. While they're at it, they can also feed themselves. This approach addresses two problems with one solution. Why not implement it? That will also divide the gangs and diminish their influence. Zhang emphasizes the need to push back. That's actually a brilliant idea, Prince. Whatever you feel like eating, just let me know, Zhang says. I'll go ahead and get this plan moving. Our boy leans back, satisfied. Now that's the kind of feedback I enjoy. 3 days later, back on the barbarian front, the Empress is still deeply engaged in cultivation. The barbarian elder notices that she is on the verge of breaking through to the next level and immediately decides to flee. However, it's too late. She opens her eyes mid. A breakthrough occurs as a burst of energy erupts. Around her, she's fully embracing her Dragon Ball Z persona. If you can run faster than my blade, then go ahead and try, she declares. With a powerful swing, she unleashes a massive slash across the battlefield. Heads are rolling. The old man senses something approaching. He turns, but the pace is too slow. Her sword slices through the air, propelling him into a rock, which shatters completely. Now he understands. Now that she has ascended, there is no way out of this. She approaches the wall and informs the general, "We need to head back urgently. Someone is attacking our location." City grabs her by the arm, and off they go. The general suggests that there's no need to rush, as the city is protected by a barrier. However, the Empress shakes her head in disagreement. That poison elder is incredibly dangerous. If I hadn't broken through today, I wouldn't have stood a chance. All we can do now is hope that our people didn't suffer too much. On the way back, the Empress glances around and asks the general, "Wasn't there supposed to be 2 mountains here? Or am I mistaken?" The general appears confused. "In fact, there used to be 3. Where have they gone?" As the Empress surveys her surroundings, she realizes that the terrain is entirely flat. "Whoever did this leveled everything with a single attack," she remarks. The general, taken aback, responds, "Your Majesty, you're at the 9th level. Can you really compare yourself to someone capable of this?" The Empress replies calmly, "You might have the wrong impression of me. I don't even know how strong the person who did this is, let alone what it would be like to fight them." As they arrive in the city, the Empress walks in gracefully, veil and all, looking stunning. She expresses that she is not too concerned about Linger spending time with the prince. As long as she's protecting him, that's enough. However, she then notices Xiao Tian being pampered by 2 girls. Linger is offering him some buns, while a guard holds a cup of wine to his lips. Immediately, Xiao Tian senses a deadly aura looming behind him. He turns his head, and there she is, his wife. The general points at Linger and says, "Looks like I didn't beat you enough last time. Are you asking for another spanking?" Linger panics. "Crap, Mom is back way too soon. What should I do?" That's when the guard blurts out, "I sent her a message about you and the prince. Are the boys already shouting? Are you trying to get me killed?" General Song glares as if she's ready to drop-kick her daughter. Linger. She instantly hides behind the prince and pleads, "Please, just cover for me a little. With Her Majesty present, she won't dare to strike you." but General Song steps right up to him, blocking out the sun like a wall of muscle. Xiao thinks it's as if a mountain has just materialized in front of him. She says, "Step aside. I need to have a chat with my daughter." He stares up at the 2-meter-tall beast of a woman, her veins bulging like King Kong's arms. General Song calmly states that publicly beating your daughter could have long-term effects on her development. She glares with a terrifying expression. "Prince, I'm being nice to you only because of the Empress." Linger throws herself to the ground, pleading, "Please hit me, not thee." Guard jumps in, urging, "Please don't hit him." The general, stunned, responds, "What the hell is wrong with you two? I would never lay a hand on the Empress's man." Suddenly, people from the city begin to arrive, inquiring about what is happening. Xiao Qi attempts to reassure them, saying, "Don't worry, everything's fine." One man reminds the prince not to forget the banquet later. "Understood. I'll see you all there." The general is starting to sweat now. The townspeople all seem to have a fondness for this guy, and it's clear that he has made a positive impact on their lives. He turns to the Empress, thinking, "Dan, my wife truly is the most beautiful and alluring woman alive." She glances his way and catches his eye. He's drooling. This prince is simply too much. Curious, she asks, "Prince, what did you do to earn the city folks' favor?" He looks away, feeling embarrassed. The scene shifts as they walk through town. "Well," he says, "I just threw some money around to build a few roads. Nothing major." The Empress raises an eyebrow and asks, "And where did you get that money?" "Last I checked, you weren't exactly wealthy," he grins. "Marrying you has its perks, doesn't it? As a prince, people are quite generous. I've been accepting a few gifts here and there. It's no big deal." She appears confused, but doesn't press the issue too much. "I suppose there are many wealthy individuals in my empire." Meanwhile, the general reflects on how clueless the prince truly is, and wonders why people are so fond of him. Then Linger opens her mouth and ruins everything. This is because the prince truly improved everyone's lives day by day. The Empress and the general exchange a brief glance. Linger continues, "Much like the wine we used to sell in town, which was terrible. Eventually, they began importing wine from the southern city and rebranded it. The Empress's Grand Reserve, supported by the minister, John, known as the food guy, had the prince's name stamped on the label. Everyone wanted a bottle, and now it's the most popular drink in town. Our boy approaches the Empress and apologizes for using her name without permission. However, since no one believes in his strength, he had to lean on her reputation. The other two ladies stand by, wearing those classic skeptical expressions, thinking, of course, Prince, you're completely weak. Aha. The Empress turns to him and says, "You're my man, my prince. No one in this entire country has the right to call you useless. If I ever hear anyone speak badly of you, I'll take care of them myself." Our boy has developed a mischievous little grin, and he's clearly loving it. He thanks her, saying, "You truly are the best wife in the world." She tells him he's far too easy to deceive, and she doesn't appreciate that kind of smooth talk. Yet beneath the veil, she is clearly smiling. The general interjects, "Prince, Her Majesty has been strong since childhood. She possesses a powerful heart. Those little flirty tricks that might work on other girls won't have any effect on her, you understand." But our boy, having faced numerous challenges, persevered through it all. Seeing that secret smile makes me think that maybe my Empress really is proud and closed off on the outside, but deep down, I know she enjoyed it. He turns to Linger. "Your mom doesn't understand it at all." The general turns to the Empress and says, "Come on, let's go eat. My husband should have prepared something for us by now." The Empress's face brightens with excitement. "I can't wait. He always makes the best food for me." They head home, and our boy notices. The Empress appears to be stronger than ever. He asks the system what her current strength is. The system responds that she has already reached the 9th realm. He thinks to himself that she left to handle a northern threat, leveled up, and returned before dinner. My wife is truly the best. At the door, an amazing aroma fills the air. The general boasts that my husband always knows when I'm upset. On my way home, I can tell he made this meal with a lot of love for me. Lemire is sweating bullets. Let's just hope she never discovers it's all for the prince. Inside, Zhang hears a knock at the door. Without even turning around, he says, "Brother Zhao, you're lucky today. I cooked all your favorite dishes, and of course, I stocked up on the Empress's wine. We're getting drunk tonight." The general stands at the door, pondering why he is being told it's for the prince and not for him. That's when he finally turns around and sees his wife and the Empress. "Oh, my dear wife, your majesty," he exclaims. "Welcome!" The Empress smiles, reminiscent of old times. "You always prepared meals for us." Zhang is all giddy like a child. "Wait, right here, I'll grab some more bowls. We're all eating together." The two women stare at the prince, wondering what has happened over the past few days. Meanwhile, our boy is in a panic. If the Empress discovers that I gave him those ideas, she might demand my assistance in governing the city. No way, that's not happening. Later, everyone is eating. The general says, "My husband really went all out today." The Empress picks up her cup and adds, "This is that wine I heard about, isn't it?" Zhang nods in agreement. Yes, Your Majesty, the one we created here. She takes a sip and adds, this is wonderful. So the success wasn't just from using my name. The wine itself is excellent. And of course, here comes Zhang. Spilling everything our boy wanted to keep secret, he said. Yes, Your Majesty. The prince didn't just assist with the wine. He invested in infrastructure, built new roads and bridges, created jobs, and gave Kim Yang a complete makeover. He even took the initiative to pay extra taxes to set a good example for the other merchants. Our boy covers his face, pleading for someone to knock Zhang out cold. If this keeps going, I'm going to lose my comfy, lazy life. Zhang glances at him and replies, I haven't even started the real praise yet, Your Majesty. It's honestly hard to explain how exceptional your husband is. Our boy snaps, telling them to shut up already. Zhang continues to push forward. Regarding the refugee crisis in the south, the prince offered us valuable suggestions and even donated his own money. He's visibly sweating now, unsure of where to direct his gaze, while the Empress wears a tiny, proud smile on her face. Poor Zhang. If he could, our boy would unplug him from the server right this moment. Meanwhile, Zhang is winking at the prince as if he's offering assistance. Our boy has his face buried in his hands, nearly crying. He's gone pale from secondhand embarrassment. The Empress then asks, if you're this capable, why do you keep calling yourself useless? It thinks of itself because I just want to be lazy. It instantly conjures an image of the Empress whipping him and commanding him to get to work. He gives a look that suggests he's pleased on the surface, but underneath, he's thinking that you've just shown off. You should be ashamed for ruining my plans. The Empress remarks, I didn't expect you to know how to make wine. The protagonist responds, well, I know a little. When it comes to eating, drinking, and enjoying life, I'm pretty much the best there is. The Empress playfully remarks that not many people receive compliments from Mr. Zhang. She then asks, why do you look so nervous? You're afraid I'll give you an official position and make you work hard, aren't you? He freezes, worried she might uncover his entire plan in just 10 seconds. But then she reassures him, saying, don't worry. I promised you'd live a peaceful and prosperous life without lifting a finger, and I intend to keep that promise. After all, I summoned you here without permission. It's the least I can do. Our boy thinks to himself, this woman really knows how to get under my skin. She continues, and if anyone dares to call you useless again, I won't hesitate to become a tyrant and cut them down. Now he finds himself daydreaming about sitting on her lap, expressing his gratitude for her caring and indulgent nature. She inquires about the old poison master who appeared, saying, I heard you were the one standing at the city gates. I want all the details. Sometime after sharing the entire story, the general suddenly rises to his feet. What? He took him down with just one punch? Who is this man with such incredible strength? The guard steps back, revealing the man known as Yan. He is the one who annihilated the entire blood tribe. Stunned, the Empress asks. The guard confirms, of course, Your Majesty. You know how much I hated those bastards. I would never lie about something like this. The Empress expresses her desire to meet the man and thank him personally, as he has just resolved one of the Empire's most significant issues. Mr. Zhang adds that the Temple of the Dark Soul and the Blood, the Cloud Society, has been harassing the Empire for a long time, so it's a blessing that someone like him exists now. The two women lift their glasses in celebration. At last, there is someone powerful enough to bring an end to all that chaos. Mr. Zhang shifts the topic and asks, Your Majesty, will you be attending court? She replies, yes, it's part of my role as Empress. He advises her, then you should probably protect the prince while you're there. Now that the northern campaign is over, you can't put it off any longer. According to the laws of the Yan dynasty, the prince must appear before all the ministers in court. Our boy is completely lost. No one ever mentioned this to me. The chef explains, it's the rule, Your Highness. Once the Empress marries, the prince must meet with the officials alongside her. Kudian looks at the Empress, feeling uncertain. Will that lead to trouble? A problem? Zhang nudges her. Your Majesty, why don't you tell him? She sighs. I owe you an explanation. Marrying you wasn't merely about having a human shield. I hope what I'm about to say doesn't upset you. Our protagonist replies, come on, someone like me is always ready for the worst. She explains the situation. The Prime Minister, who assisted her in taking the throne, has a son who has been urging her to marry him for years. As Empress, she is expected to produce heirs for the nation. The Prime Minister has been advocating for a political alliance. However, rather than giving in, she spent years delaying her decision until she mastered the summoning technique. And that's when she brought him into this world. The protagonist falls silent, clearly troubled by the idea of the Empress being forced to marry someone else. She assumes he's scared. I'm a little afraid of the Prime Minister too, she thinks. As long as we follow protocol, everything should be fine. And if not, I'll protect you. Or perhaps we'll discover another way forward. He lifts his cup with a sly grin and says, well, I'll go. You're going to protect me in court, right? That guy's not going to kill me in there, is he? Linger and the guard watch nervously, wondering what will happen if the Prime Minister loses control and pushes the prince. The Empress frowns. You don't have to go. Maybe it really is too risky. I can't fully gauge his strength, and I don't want to face him unless I absolutely have to. Mr. Zhang says, Your Majesty, I believe in the prince, even if he sometimes comes off as a bit silly and seems mostly interested in pleasure. And yes, he is extremely lazy. That doesn't necessarily mean he will struggle, right? I stood there, uncertain whether it was meant as a compliment or an insult. To be honest, I'm still not sure. The two women reassure the Empress to relax, expressing their confidence that the prince will encounter no difficulties. The Empress begins to realize the depth of trust these two have in him. Linger adds, It's because of what my father said. The prince isn't someone you can handle easily. The general agrees. If everyone is on board, perhaps it truly is the right time to confront the Prime Minister. The Empress still appears somewhat uneasy, but our boy meets her gaze and says, I believe in you. She asks him softly, You're not afraid? Our guy, smooth as ever, replies, My wife is the most beautiful and intelligent woman in the entire dynasty, the most magnificent ruler in the world. What could I possibly be afraid of? Kim stands up quietly, without any sass this time. I think I've just figured out where those mountains the prince sent into oblivion ended up. She excuses herself. Well, if you insist, I won't say anything more. She heads off to finish some paperwork before returning to the palace. Meanwhile, our boy is just sitting there, lost in thought. Flirting with her is the best. The scene shifts as he walks home, just like any other day with the two eccentric girls following closely behind. However, he notices that they are being followed. He's so clumsy that it's almost endearing. Could he really be one of the Prime Minister's spies? Without hesitation, the proto reaches for his wrist and removes his contract ring. The girls freeze in shock. Wait, that's the incredibly powerful contract ring used to control people summoned from other worlds, isn't it? It comes with all those rules and bindings. Linger, clearly panicking, asks, Your Excellency, what are you doing? He replies, I've been wearing it on the same wrist for too long. It starts to ache, so I switch sides from time to time. She's stunned, but that wasn't her question. The guard steps in. I believe what she means is, how can you simply remove it? Our charming idiot grins. Oh, that? It's simple. He effortlessly takes it off one hand and slips it onto the other. The two girls simply give up trying to understand him. All the while, he continues to keep. They kept an eye on the person trailing them. A little later, Linger asks, Your Majesty, are you going to kill the Prime Minister? He stops in his tracks. What? Are you insane? Why would I do that? She replies, It's obvious he's going to try to humiliate you in court. If he attacks, I'll have no choice but to expose your power. Then she has a bright idea. You're strong, right? Why don't you raid the Prime Minister's mansion tonight? He slaps her on the head. She immediately complains, asking him to be gentle and not to blow up her skull. He shakes his head, insisting that's impossible because she has a hard head. You think just because someone's targeting me, I'm going to kill him? That's not who I am, he explains. Linger pouts, and he reassures her that he's not violent. But he nearly crushed my skull. The guard silently observes. This general, once so proud and untouchable, now resembles a shy little girl speaking to him. Back at home, our protagonist collapses into his chair and asks the system to play a movie. She instructs the girls to practice for an hour before they head out. He intensifies the pressure surrounding them. They simply need to adhere to the method he taught. Let's just say it's the most unique training method I've ever encountered. After an hour, they leave. He spends some time cultivating his skills. He remains inside until he hears a noise outside. As he gazes outside, the Empress arrives with a small army of maids who appear to be perfectly identical, as if she had literally copied and pasted them. She carries that royal tone. Prince, why are you just sitting there, lost in thought? Come with me to the palace. And she said to him, Prince, what are you doing just standing there? Come to bed with me. This time, you're not allowed to run away. She enters the room and notices a few drops of sweat on the floor. She looks into the eye, says, Many people believe you're only good at having fun, but they don't see how hard you've been working. How have you been training lately? With a completely straight face, he replies that he hasn't really been practicing. He simply moves around occasionally to keep his muscles active. With her sweet and gentle demeanor, she assures him to take as much time as he needs. There's no rush. She is here for him. Look at our boy, all shy and flustered, thinking to himself, my wife is just too amazing. Why are all her seductive traits turned up to the max? The Empress reclines on the bed, holding a small book in her hand. She glances over and asks, what are you doing just standing there? Aren't you going to come and keep me company? Immediately removes his coat and she crashes onto the bed like a rock, finding it amusing how he behaves. The candles are extinguished and Meg collapses. The Empress reassures him that there's no need to be so frightened. She's merely here to dispel people's doubts. However, he's convinced she's going to devour him. And come on, everyone, let's calm down. When I say devour, it's more of an eep than what you're imagining. Or is it? The main character admits it's only the second time he's ever been in bed with a woman, which naturally makes him nervous. After all, his entire life has revolved around how to kill. Not exactly the best preparation for this kind of situation. Suddenly, she turns to him, a bit irritated, and asks for the second time, who was the first? Our boy replies, Your Majesty, it was you before you left for the north when you summoned me. The Empress pauses, coming to a realization. Ah, so my first and second were both with you as well. Then she asks, I just want to know, why do you want to go to court and meet the ministers? If you don't want to, you don't need to force yourself. The guy responds, saying it's due to loneliness. She looks confused. He explains that before he was summoned, he was always alone. He struggles to articulate it, but he has always felt isolated. He reflects on his time on Earth, where he was incredibly talented and strong. No one ever wanted to join his group because he could complete every mission on his own. Now, in this new world, he finds himself even more powerful than before. Yet, this place is 10 times lonelier. She sits there, deep in thought, questioning why he feels lonely when she is right there with him. He turns to her and says, even if it's hard to describe, and while it may not be in the usual sense, I feel like I have a family now, and that family is, damn. Our boy knows how to speak. He's essentially the playmaker of this story, the Messi of emotional confessions. This way, he feels that at least they are no longer alone. It's the only way he can truly support her. With her eyes shining, she says they need to get to know each other all over again. She introduces herself as Ju Ruyan, and he responds that his name is Shal. The next chapter begins with everything in the north settled. Now, the prince must meet with the ministers. However, back in the city, everyone knows the prime minister plans to marry his son to the empress. This means the prince is about to encounter some trouble. Next, we see the shameless one himself. Lu Hacheng stands beside his son, Lu Zimi. He glares at the throne, grits his teeth, and says, that was supposed to be my seat. And just like that, the couple steps into the room. The protagonist arrives and notices that his seat is shaped like a phoenix, which he finds somewhat humiliating. The phoenix is a symbol traditionally associated with women. The Empress notices he's standing still and asks what's wrong. He replies that it's nothing, but she can tell something is bothering him. She states that the prince is a man and should not be sitting in a phoenix chair. She then orders for it to be changed. The attendants quickly bring in a new chair, and she gives him a playful wink. Our protagonist realizes she's doing this to demonstrate to the ministers that she values him. He sits down, relaxed and confident, while the people in the courtroom are quietly embarrassed. This is the man everyone has been talking about. Someone steps forward and declares that if anyone has something to say, now is the time to speak up. Mr. Chang approaches and gets straight to the point. Your Majesty, I have something to say. She asks what it is. They respond with a knowing glance, hinting at a shared secret. He starts to talk, but everyone knows he's just going to complain about the prince. Our main character is already thinking ahead. I hadn't expected the prime minister to be this sharp. He handled himself well with the empress, demonstrating his cleverness. Strategic thinking is key. Our boy claims he's not afraid of ambitious people. Rather, he's wary of those who are both ambitious and capable. He understands that it won't be easy to strip this man of his power. That's when the prime minister speaks up. Your Majesty, this Prince Ya Tian is not fit for the empire. He is confusing you and diminishing the value of our kingdom. Please banish him from the empire and strip him of his title. Everyone in the room freezes, tension rising like a storm. Meanwhile, our protagonist contemplates the moment. So this is how it begins. Honestly, he's finding it quite enjoyable. Linger finds the entire situation amusing. Look at everyone trying to provoke the prince with their sly smiles. If only they knew. Sister Lu tells her to remain silent. The worst outcome would be if the prince became angry, slapped the minister and killed him on the spot. If he wants to fool around, let him have his fun. Then the emperor speaks. Prime Minister, Xiao Tian is my husband. If you say one more word, your head will be the next to roll. And with that, the tension in the room escalated, leaving everyone on edge. She releases a fearsome aura that shocks the entire court. Everyone now understands that she has already entered the 9th realm. It is truly an unmatched power, yet the Prime Minister appears completely unfazed. He smiles and offers his congratulations to her. Everyone by his side bows, creating an atmosphere filled with reverence and respect as they acknowledge his presence. The Empress realizes that even after revealing the full extent of her 9th realm power, the Prime Minister remains completely unshaken. This can only mean he possesses a strength or knowledge that she has yet to comprehend. He is more powerful than she realized. The Prime Minister then speaks, stating that as great a cultivator as Her Majesty may be, her husband possesses absolutely no talent for leading this world. He is frequently observed engaging in disgraceful behavior, exploiting others for his own gain. It is well known that he used Her Majesty's name to market a bottle of wine. That alone proves he is a man of no virtue and deserves to be expelled from the empire. Furthermore, he spends his entire day with Minister Zhang's daughter and his personal guard, Miss Lu. Rumor has it that he's even forcing Minister Zhang to cook for him. If he doesn't summon a court and hold himself accountable, he will only demonstrate the favoritism the Empress shows toward him. Once again, he demands the execution of the prince. After his exile, Navi wants the boy's head, but that won't happen. I fully support the petition to disconnect the Prime Minister from the server. The muscular general is furious, questioning why her daughter's friendship with the prince is even a topic of discussion. Minister Zhang intervenes and asserts that the Prime Minister is mistaken. He emphasizes that Zhao Qian was responsible for constructing bridges and roads. He has assisted the people and even spent his own money to support refugees. Even his daughter, who was once rebellious, has changed for the better since spending time with the prince. He asks the Prime Minister how these actions are corrupting the dynasty. Meanwhile, the prince sits there, grinning and nodding in full agreement with everything Zhang has just said. But then the Prime Minister speaks up again, asking, "Where's the proof?" Zhang inquires about the type of evidence he should be searching for. The Prime Minister states, "How could Zhao Qian have possibly accomplished all that on his own? I have every reason to believe you are the one behind it all and are simply trying to support him." The people in the court are starting to murmur, questioning why so much effort is being made to protect a prince they consider useless. Unfortunately, Minister Zhang realizes that the protagonist only provided verbal instructions. There's no solid proof. The Prime Minister states that, as we can see, there is no evidence linking him to any of these actions. But our clever boy speaks up, pointing out that by the same logic, there's no evidence that I didn't do it either. The minister blinks and surprisingly agrees. "You have. Since I can convince anyone with words alone, let me show you this." He pulls out a scroll, revealing a legendary ancient book. "Would the prince like to take a look?" he asks. The Empress looks startled and immediately questions the Prime Minister. "What are you doing?" Zhao Qian, meanwhile, is left wondering why he brought out a book and what the fuss is all about. Is this some sort of cursed book that kills people when they attempt to read it? He shrugs and says, "If you'll allow it, sure, I'll take a look. It's fine." Suddenly, the Empress jumps up and exclaims, "No, you can't read that." Our protagonist acknowledges that he could technically attempt to read it. However, he questions why he should comply with anything the Prime Minister desires. The Prime Minister asserts this is merely a minor test set by the Empire. If the prince fails to pass it, it will only demonstrate that he is nothing but a facade. You likely conspired with Minister Zhang to deceive the Empress and the higher authorities. Such treachery would be a serious offense. Our guy claps and says, "This bastard really knows how to twist words. I'll give him that." Minister Zhang warns that this book holds the inherited language of the dynasty, written in an unknown script. Attempting to read it without deciphering the text will result in instant death. The protagonist responds, "So, this is what it is, huh? Minister, this test is completely unreasonable. It makes no sense whatsoever." The Prime Minister waves the book in the air and asks, "Are you afraid, Prince?" Xiao Tian steps forward and says, "If I read the book, then I surely prove unworthy of the Empress, but I'm already with her. If I fail to read it, I die." That sounds like a pretty unfair deal, don't you think? That's when the Prime Minister's son jumps in, furious, and says, "Xiao Tian, stop speaking to my father like that." But before he can continue, the prince slaps him across the face and declares, "It's rude to interrupt when adults are speaking." Then he looks at the Prime Minister and asks, "Tell me, what kind of upbringing did you give your son?" The Prime Minister glares at he kneels before the Empress and says, "I apologize for my son's behavior in the presence of the royal court." She responds, "It's fine. You'll pay for it." With 6 months' salary, his son expresses his gratitude. The protagonist is taken aback. He didn't expect this side character to be so calm. Typically, these individuals are all over the place. The minister begins to speak about a secret jade garden filled with treasures. When the Empress ascended to the throne, she was too young to claim everything stored there. However, now, if the prince succeeds, the minister promises to present him with 3 million spirit stones as a wedding gift. He smirks and says, "Actually, make it 5 million. Take it or leave it." The prince responds, "Well, minister, if your appetite is that big, I won't be stingy either." He thinks to himself, whatever. He's gonna die anyway, as he hands over the book. The protagonist takes the book and says, "First of all, minister, thank you for this wonderful wedding gift." The Empress, clearly worried, responds, "Husband, please don't do this. It's foolish." But he has already opened the book and begun to read. After a few pages, he closes it, leaving the queen in shock. The Prime Minister scoffs, just like all the others. "You couldn't handle it either." In the court, whispers begin to circulate. That book must be read in its entirety once it's opened. Anyone who closes it before reaching the final page dies instantly. The protagonist turns and asks, "Wait, is that true?" Everyone is now wondering how he is still alive. He casually walks away, saying standing up for too long is tiring. He sits back down and begins to read slowly, flipping through the pages. Everyone stares at him, making him feel uncomfortable. He says, "Can everyone please stop staring and start chatting among yourselves? You're distracting me." The Empress, he asks, "Are you feeling okay?" He gives her a wink, thanks her for her concern, and says, "I'm fine. This amazing gift is from the Prime Minister, and I'll make sure it's yours." The dynamic individuals we've come to know well are standing nearby with their usual deadpan expressions. This guy is just messing with everyone. We anticipated this moment. The prince remains as calm as ever, while the minister seethes with anger inside. How can this man read that book as if it were nothing? Our protagonist closes the book. He places his hand on his head. The Empress observes him and considers that perhaps he remains unaffected due to his lack of cultivation. A sense of pride swells within her. Even though my husband is just an ordinary guy, he is still remarkable in his own way. He begins to feel curious about the book's contents. Could it have been created by a person? He asks the system, is this for physical training or what? The system replies, that book is protected by a prohibition spell. Anyone below the 10th realm is instantly destroyed upon reading it. What? He's the protagonist. He grins, realizing that this wasn't created by a human. This world has some fascinating things. The system translated for him, stating, unfortunately, translation requires 3,000 points. Complete missions to earn them. He grumbles in response. Seriously, you're not going to translate it for me? The system replies, dear master, sadly, I require points to do that. The book's still open, he mutters. Look at the mess I'm in. If I embarrass myself, you know the consequences. The system hesitates before responding. Mission initiated. Sit in the chair for 1 second. Mission complete. You've earned 9,999 points. At the end of the story, it's clear that the system plays favorites. Returning to the scene, the system announces that it is translating now. The protagonist remarks, why did you only do this after I pressured you? You'd better step it up next time. The system, sounding ashamed, apologizes and promises it won't happen again. Of course, it won't. Our protagonist now has 9 billion points. Meanwhile, the minister notices the prince laughing and becomes even more irritated. Prince, did you really understand what's written in that book? And don't even think about pretending it's fake. The protagonist stands up, declaring, I wouldn't waste my time pulling a stunt like that. I'm currently waiting for the system to complete the translation. Suddenly, the book in his hand starts to glow. A collective gasp fills the room. It's the inheritance of the book. Even the Empress is taken aback. She exclaims, the ancient book that has claimed the lives of over 10 people has now revealed its inheritance to the prince? Surely that's enough for you, minister. However, the minister protests, I didn't see the prince actually absorb the inheritance. Perhaps he simply triggered a mechanism that caused it to react. The book floats into the air and releases a shimmering light. A flurry of glowing characters shoots straight into the prince's mind. After everything is transferred, the book falls to the ground. The protagonist turns and asks, well, Prime Minister, what is your plan? Are you going to pull another trick now? You better not come up with any weak excuses. The minister lowers his head and says, I apologize. I didn't realize the prince was a genius. Shuntian responds, no problem. Just send over the 6 million spirit stones now. He snatches the contract from the minister's hand. Thank you, Prime Minister Liu. The minister's son growls. All of that belongs to Her Majesty. There's no need to thank me. Shuntian raises his hand and says, oh, I was referring to that extra million you added earlier in the bet. I expected 5, but who would have thought you'd be so generous and add 1 more from your own pocket? He raises his fist toward the minister. Someone whispers, what's he doing? And our guy simply gives him a thumbs up. The queen, trying to suppress her laughter, says, maybe the prince could go a little easier on the poor man. He already looks sick. Give him a break. The entire court erupts in laughter at the expense of the unfortunate minister. The minister expresses his gratitude, saying, thank you very much, Your Majesty. The gift will be delivered to the palace tonight. The emperor stands and replies, I also thank you for your generosity. If everyone is satisfied, let's take our leave. As they head out, the group that always tags along with the protagonist is all smiles. Our boy turns to Minister Zhang and says, after today's huge win, I'll have to celebrate with dinner at your place. The emperor's elders nod in agreement, remarking that Prince Zhou truly awakened their spirits today. They commend him for his strength and confidence, calling him an impressive prince. With a humble gesture, the prince waves them off. He says, all right, let's stop with the praise. What I really enjoy is wine. Do you think we can bring a bottle to tonight's dinner? Everyone chuckles, agreeing that the prince's spirit is truly something special. They find themselves at a loss for words. Even the muscular general compliments him, saying, you really are something, prince. And off they go, the husband in tow. Come on, love, I'll cook you something delicious tonight. The protagonist glances at the key the minister gave him and thinks, that lunatic isn't going to come up with some excuse to avoid those 6 million spirit stonements, is he? Miss Liu assures him not to worry. The minister has his problems, but he's a man of his word. Our boy doesn't want the prime minister to become an enemy of the empire. After all, whether he likes it or not, the man is skilled and essential to the dynasty. Ling returns and asks the prince about the book that kills people. He replies, that ancient book, it just had a mechanism. If you're below the 10th heavenly realm, you die instantly. Nothing crazy. The girls freeze, obliterated below the 10th realm. Lu asks, what is this heavenly realm stuff? What does that even mean? The protagonist appears confused, shaking their head in uncertainty. All we know are the human race and the monster race. We've never even heard of an ancient god race. Then Linger asks, Prince, why were you flipping through the book like that? Did that help you absorb its knowledge? He answers, no, it didn't help. How can you be so foolish? How would simply opening and closing a book contribute to transferring a legacy? Still not understanding, she asks, then why were you doing that, Prince? He replies, every time the book attempted to kill me, it also gave my body a little massage. I found it oddly pleasant. They panic. Prince, that book is intended to kill someone in the 10th realm. Stop using it for messages. The next chapter opens at the Prime Minister's estate, where his foolish son remarks, Father, like Xiao Tian, is a complete disgrace. Let's find someone and take care of him. His father replies, this matter is closed. We won't let a minor fool ruin this significant occasion. Honestly, I'm quite disappointed in you today. The son begins to talk back, but is quickly met with a lecture. One day you'll have to take your place in this empire. How do you expect to do that while acting like a brat in front of everyone? The son lowers his head and replies, sorry, father. The minister gazes out the window and declares, my return to the empire is near. We must tread carefully during this final stretch. He then issues his orders. Send someone to announce that the prince has inherited the legacy of the book. That will certainly stir things up for him and give the Empress a serious headache. Just look at what this scheming bastard is up to. If it weren't for that unknown man who defeated the Blood Tower, this foolish prince would have been kidnapped, and I could have taken the Empress's position for myself. Now our hero must discover that this man is the true villain. However, for now, he is more concerned about the situation at hand. The Empress, who has been working herself to the bone, he walks. She is shocked by how much she has already accomplished. She says, if it weren't for the Prime Minister, you probably wouldn't even be able to see me behind this pile of. He tells her, being Empress is no joke, while thinking to himself, good thing I'm not the one doing it. I'm just relaxing here. The Empress explains that the Grand Dynasty is the result of her father's efforts and the sacrifices of her two older brothers, who both died. No matter how tired I feel, it pales in comparison to what they sacrificed. The protagonist inquires whether the 6 million spirit stones have been delivered to the palace yet. That reminds her, right, I have a favor to ask. The jade pendant the minister gave you matches this one. Together, they unlock the wealth that my father left behind. He stares at the key, thinking, I knew this was going to turn into a job. She tells him, I'm leaving the key in your care, so you'll be in charge of that place. I have a mountain of other responsibilities. At least this way, the court won't be able to say, you're not doing anything right. He smiles and says, well, the fete is easy, so let's get to it. He connects the two pendants together. A brilliant light flashes out. The Empress explains, this jade pendant serves as a spiritual weapon, offering you protection. You are tasked with instructing someone to relocate the contents of an old archive to a new location, and you have the choice to decide whether to keep what is inside the vault. Our boy is filled with excitement. Not only is he going to pretend he's doing something important, but he's also going to receive free money to spend however he wishes. Thank you, Empress. I will keep it safe for you. Just as he is about to turn around, she stands up and thanks him. The good little scammer that he is, he winks and says, anything for you, my love. Steen shifts his focus as he enters the vault alongside two companions. Inside, there is an item that accompanied him during his transmigration. Lambert looks at it and says, that looks like a coffin. What even is this? He lightly smacks her on the head and adds, that's a weapon my master gave me. Your master must have been incredibly strong. Allow me to take. The protagonist interrupts her, saying, you can't. He silently hopes he will never need to use them again. They were all weapons he employed during his assassinations. All right, let's go. I want to check out the old man's warehouse. When they arrive at the entrance, the guards block his path. He stands there, assessing the situation, weighing his options carefully. He pulls out the jade pendant and says, I'm here on orders from the Empress. The path is cleared for the approaching figure. Behind them is a literal mountain of money. A man expresses his heartfelt gratitude to Lord Lu Cheng. He still finds it strange that the Emperor's personal vault contains more money than the entire empire combined. The two girls stand there, completely unaware of how many spirit stones are in that pile. The protagonist instructs Sister Lu to summon the Empress so they can determine how to handle all this wealth. He places his hand on the warrior girl's shoulder and asks, Do you think your father would pass out if he saw all this? Linger replies, My dad's been working in the treasury for years. He wouldn't be surprised by something like this. With a hand on his chin, our protagonist contemplates, realizing, that's it. This woman is crazy. With this amount of money, I could live 100,000 lifetimes doing absolutely nothing. Just then, the Empress arrives, shocked by the absurd amount of money being discussed. The prince turns to her and asks what they should do. She remains frozen, her mind spinning. Suddenly, a loud thud echoes through the room. Everyone turns to see Minister Zhang, who has lost consciousness and is now lying on the floor. Our guy glances at Linger, who is covering her face in embarrassment. Zhang awakens with a surge of energy. This will be directed to the south, where it will be used to forge weapons. At last, we can begin constructing those roads. The Empress expresses her gratitude to the protagonist, saying, Thanks to you, we've uncovered all these treasures. You are free to take as much as you'd like to ensure your happiness. With that familiar sparkle in his eyes, he says, As much as I want. Awesome. He gathers a large number of spirit stones and arranges them into a bed. Lying down, as he looks down, his forehead starts to open and a third eye begins to emerge. Inside his sea of consciousness, an old memory surfaced. A man appears. It's the spirit of an ancient god. Upon arrival, the old man appears puzzled. Is this the soul of a human? He wonders, pausing to sense it once more. He expands his awareness and voices his thoughts. How is this possible? A human inheriting the power of a god? He must have used some trick to steal it. Suddenly, an apple appears and begins to speak. Analysis complete. The spirit of the ancient god serves as the guardian of the legacy. The old man states, In the spiritual world, the brighter your glow, the stronger you are. I have 99 stars. But the tomato beside him has over 3,000. He stares and asks, Who are you? Are you the master of the sea? Tomato replies, I am NK, my master's loyal system. And yes, this is indeed my master's sea of consciousness. Suddenly, a voice echoes from behind, asking, What's with all the noise? Can a guy get some sleep around here? The old man turns and sees the glowing figure, immediately dropping to his knees. Our boy is radiating light. The tomato warns him, Sir, you'd better back off. My master just woke up. He might accidentally kill you, causing the old man to stumble backward and retreat. Our protagonist watches all of this in disbelief. He turns to NK and asks, Why did that old man show up in my consciousness? The system replies, He's the spirit of the inheritance within that ancient book. From what he understands, the old man has come to impart the legacy of knowledge. With a hand on his chin, he begins to piece it together. So this is what the gods look like essentially, just like a teacher. The old man, clearly embarrassed, admits, Yes, I'm the incarnation of the ancient gods. However, he already has a plan taking shape. He thinks to himself, I need this guy's help. I'll pretend to pass on knowledge to him, and in the process, I'll revive the ancient gods. Our boy, ever suspicious, asks what he's thinking, trying to play it cool. The old man puts on an innocent face and replies, Pardon, my lord, I'm not thinking anything at all. Pointing a finger directly at him, our boy declares, I can sense the dark intent within you. You'd better reveal your plan now, or this won't end well. System, eliminate him. The system responds with a silent nod. The old man is in shock. You wretch brat, where is your respect for a grand elder? Shoptian says, I saw the resentment in your eyes, and I refuse to believe that the mind of a so-called great elder is so small. By now, the old man is halfway down the tomatoes. The system undergoes an upgrade as night falls. A thief perches on the roof, observing our boy. She slept, as expected from the Empress's favorite, on an extravagant bed of spirit stones. Unfortunately for him, those comfortable days are about to come to an end. He leaps down and goes straight for the protagonist. The assassin lunges for the throat, but his small sword shatters instantly upon impact. He stares, completely baffled. Meanwhile, our protagonist slowly opens his eyes and thinks, What on earth are you doing, man? The sweating assassin nervously asks, If I said it was an accident, would you believe me? Outside, someone shouts, Your Highness, I heard something. The protagonist responds, It's all good. I just knocked something over. Don't worry. Stay outside. No one needs to come in. He picks up the shattered blade and inspects it closely. He casually begins bending the dagger, leaving the little ninja stunned. What kind of monster is this guy? That was a 6th rank weapon. He collapses, trembling. The intelligence department must be incompetent. There's no way this is normal. The guard rushes in and asks, What happened, Your Majesty? The king replies, I honestly don't know. I believe this guy attempted something while I was asleep. He asks if the Empress is all right, and he nods, assuring her that she's fine. Then she inquires about his weapon. Our boy hands it over. She examines it closely and recognizes it. I was just doing a little recycling, I say. Keep it. It might be worth something. It's Lin Shen gold, and this piece is worth a fortune. She bows and expresses her gratitude to the prince. She approaches the intruder and instantly recognizes him. You're an assassin from the Dark Soul Palace. To enter here unnoticed, you must be one of the 6 malicious blades, correct? The man, visibly nervous, replies, yes, you're sharp. I'm Feng Meng, a member of the Dark Spirit sect, but this is all just a misunderstanding. She raises an eyebrow. Misunderstanding? You snuck into the palace and tried to kill him, he insists. No, I used the back of the blade. Your Highness, that's right, isn't it? The prince shrugs. Yes, he did use the back. Otherwise, I wouldn't be alive right now. The assassin confesses, actually, I even went after the wrong guy. I thought he was just a servant. He had no idea he was the prince. Art Moy looks at her and thinks, man, this guy really thinks I'm an idiot, doesn't he? Sister Lu chimes in, saying, just accept your fate, buddy. You're just another unlucky fool from the Dark Soul Hall who has fallen into the prince's hands. The assassin freezes. Another one. Suddenly, he recalls the old man who had come and never returned. He points at the protagonist. You're Wei Nguyen. You are the one who took down the poisoned elder. You are the mastermind behind the Blood Palace. The incident involved the individual who fell into the sea. Chu Tian was Wei Nguyen all along, a revelation that shocked everyone. Otherwise, he was merely a pampered pretty boy supported by the Empress. The assassin gasps, Prince Xiao, you're a god. The prince stands there, thinking to himself, great, look at this idiot shouting nonsense. What if my wife hears him? He suddenly cuts through the very fabric of space. How on earth did he just do that? The prince grabs him by the neck. I wanted to give you a chance to start a new life, but I didn't expect you to be so reckless shouting that I'm strong loud enough for the entire palace to hear. You're attempting to flirt with him right in front of Her Majesty. The guy gives a casual little wave. Oh, so you're still playing games, huh? Well, don't hold me responsible for what happens next. With that, he throws him into the space-time rift. He closes his eyes and offers a silent prayer for the man's soul, reflecting, I'm strict with myself, but I'm generous with others. Meanwhile, the little guard is in shock, thinking, first, he was blowing up mountains, now he's throwing people out of reality. I honestly don't even know what the prince's true power is anymore. Our boy points and says, go check if the Empress is still in the Imperial Hall. I don't want anything waking her up. She replies, got it. Suddenly the door swings open, and a voice announces, Prince, intruders have entered the palace. It is advised that you stay here tonight. Don't worry, the Empress is safe. Relieved, he responds. What a perfect coincidence. He waves. He bids farewell to the guards, lies down, and reflects. Tomorrow, I'll enjoy one of Zong's amazing meals. The next morning, Linger paces back and forth without stopping. Her mother approaches and asks, daughter, have you heard from your father? Stealing the protagonist's chef was a terrible idea. Linger replies, no, I searched the entire city, and there's no trace of him. The general lets out a sigh. Unfortunately, I haven't found anything either. Suddenly, an explosion erupts directly in front of them. The Empress arrives. Furious, she storms into the room, her anger palpable as she demands answers. When asked if she found anything, she replies, nothing. There's no trace of Uncle Zong anywhere, and the general begins to blame herself. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have argued with him yesterday. I literally kicked him out of the room with full force. If I had just stayed with him, no one could have taken him. The Empress believes this is linked to the solution Zong has been implementing for the southern refugee crisis. As he improves the lives of those in the region, others can no longer profit from exploiting them. They may have hired someone from the Dark Soul Hall to handle the situation. The general trembles at the thought. Knowing how those people usually operate, she fears her husband may already be dead. She collapses to the ground. Your Majesty, I've never asked for anything before, but please save him. The Empress kneels beside her. Don't worry. Even though I'm the great Empress now, I'm still that little girl you helped raise. The muscular general thanks her through tears, pleading for her to bring her husband back. The Empress instructs Linger to take care of her mother before soaring into the sky. However, the general hesitates. What if the enemy's goal was to lure the Empress away? What if they were actually nearby, hiding? She decides to investigate the surrounding areas herself and warns Linger to stay alert. Linger feels nervous. What if something truly terrible happened to someone? Dad? Then she has an idea. Prince. She takes off running. Sister Lu's in pursuit. Inside, they are practicing a dance routine when Linger suddenly throws open the door. Where's the prince? She asks, assuming he's still asleep. What's the matter, General? Someone replies. My father. He's gone. Gone? Linger pushes open the bedroom door, and the prince awakens, disoriented. What kid? It's way too early, she blurts out. Your Excellency, last night my father was kidnapped, and no one has found him yet. I know you said you don't like fighting, but this time, the prince freezes. Wait, what did you just say? My chef has been kidnapped. She replies, no, it was my father, not your chef. Technically, Mr. Zhang is both her father and my cook. He sits up straighter. He lies back down and throws his arm over his eyes. Oh my God, you're telling me my dear brother Zhang was taken. The girls both believe he's strong, yet he behaves like a child. He says he's just joking, but then he gets serious. It's no wonder strange things were happening last night. Who would be bold enough to sneak into the imperial palace? Linger mutters that he's tired of living and has decided to target you, Prince. He asks, what's up with this Dark Soul temple? Why are they targeting me? Linger responds, what do you mean? He explains, think about it. Since I took on this role, all I've done is eat, drink, and sleep. I haven't provoked anyone, so why am I suddenly their target? They respond, oh well, that explains it. You're underestimated. The prince thinks aloud. They sent that old swamp guy before, and last night they sent another one. I no longer believe it's a coincidence. Maybe they discovered something about me at the Blood Tower. This time, the attacker came straight for me. And yet there are individuals far more important than I am in the Grand Dynasty. They didn't target the Prime Minister, who holds significantly more political power. However, Zhang is the one who is closest to me. I have every reason to believe this temple is actually targeting me. The girls try to reassure him, saying, Prince, stop overthinking it. No one's aiming for you. But the real problem lies with Her Majesty. She went to the Dark Soul Temple as well. What if she sees me while I'm fighting, he thinks. But on the other hand, if I don't take action, I won't be able to enjoy Zhang's cooking anymore. Damn it. Why are there always so many shameless people trying to ruin my peace? I'll have to kill him, he says, turning to the girl. Don't worry, I'll bring your father back. And just like that, he explodes into the sky, flying off at full speed. Outside, no one truly comprehends what just occurred. Lambert watches him disappear and remarks, I kind of feel sorry for the Dark Soul Temple. Now, they target someone the prince genuinely cares about. Leah responds that there's no need to feel sympathy for them. As the prince said, that place is disgusting, and he should just destroy it completely. Anyone who crosses the prince gets what they deserve. Up in the sky, the Empress soars through the clouds, searching for Mr. Zhang when she suddenly comes to a halt. Did you really make it out this far? She wonders. From here on, it's the territory of the Dark Soul Palace. If I enter alone, it will be seen as a declaration of war from the Empire. Perhaps I should explore the Xianjing region instead. Just then, she senses a presence behind her, and a streak of green energy zips by. She spins quickly, slashing behind her, but whoever it was has already gone. Her attack struck nothing but empty air. What in the world? How fast is this person? Why are they heading toward the Dark Soul Palace? She begins to wonder, could it be him, Wang Yang, the one who destroyed the Blood Palace? I need to catch up and find out what happened. The scene shifts to a group of indistinguishable elderly men, clearly just clones of one another. Another group is standing atop a mountain. A man pulls Mr. Zhang forward, bound and helpless. The clone elders kneel in submission. We greet the great lord, Chan Sha, and Zhang immediately understands. This is the Dark Soul Palace, standing majestically before its massive front gate. Something seems off. The structure appears to be no more than 30 or 40 years old, yet the palace itself is said to be over 100 years old. Inside, he is thrown to the ground. The man introduces him, saying, My lord, this is Zhang Yanming, a minister from the Grand Yan dynasty. I brought him as requested. A man with a strange mark on his forehead steps forward. Seems you're quicker than the last one. You didn't run into any problems on the way, did you? No, he replies. However, the Empress and her general are already searching for him. Fortunately, they haven't found the teleportation formations we've established. This is Bai Qinglian, the Lord of the Dark Soul Hall, and Zhang instantly recognizes him. Bai Qinglian remarks, You don't seem desperate, Mr. Zhang. You're a brave man. Cut to a group of assassins, a type we already know is doomed to die, so why bother learning their names? Zhang responds calmly. It seems I've reached the end of the road, and there's nothing to fear now. Surprised by the unexpected request. Support Xiao Tian? You mean to back his claim to the throne? Bai Qinglian nods, her expression serious. Exactly. We believe he has the potential to bring balance to the court. Your influence could be crucial in ensuring his success. Zhang considers her words carefully, weighing the implications of such an alliance. And what do you gain from this? He asks. His curiosity piqued. Bai Qinglian leans in slightly, her voice lowering. A stable regime that favors our interests. In return, we can offer you protection and resources to further your own goals. The stakes are high, and Zhang knows he must tread carefully. Brow furrowed, he asks, "What are you talking about? Monitoring the Empress? What exactly is your plan? And another thing, Xiao Tian is just an ordinary man. Why are you so interested in him?" Bai Qinglian responds, "What we intend to do and why we care about Xiao Tian are not things you need to know." At that moment, Zhang realizes that the Dark Soul Hall has no connection to Liu Hacheng, the Prime Minister. Bai Qinglian asks, "So, Mr. Zhang, what do you say? I hope you'll think carefully." Zhang responds firmly, stating, "I used to be just a poor scholar. It was the kindness of the Emperor that granted me the life I have now. Today, the Empress, Her Majesty, feels like a daughter to me. Do you truly believe I would betray my family?" The Lord of the Dark Soul Hall sighs. "You have courage, Mr. Zhang, but sadly, in this place courage means nothing." He turns and says, "Shifu, show Mr. Zhang what you can do." A man steps forward. He moves forward, smiling and eager. Without warning, he delivers a hard punch to Zhang's stomach. Then, he opens his mouth to a strange creature is released. Zhang swallows it before he can react. The man explains that it's a crucial moment. A scentworm is a rather unique poison. If you don't take the antidote for the scent, the insect will gradually begin to eat away at your internal organs. The man explains that it will first pierce your lungs and drain your blood, resulting in one of the worst deaths imaginable. He continues, saying that if you cooperate with us, we will provide the incense that prevents the insect from activating. Despite this, Mr. Zhang remains silent. "You and the villains seem to respect him. He truly has a strong heart," one of the mutters spread through the crowd. "That insect should already be devouring him from the inside." Another voice shouts, "Impossible! How can you not scream in pain?" Bai Qinglian watches quietly, taking in everything around her. Mr. Zhang is already drooling from the agony. Yet he still manages to sit upright. He stands and says, "The great emperor never hesitated when speaking to me, despite my lower rank. He, a man of immense power, still referred to me as brother. To Her Majesty, I have been an uncle since she was a little girl. The Yan dynasty is more than just a country to me. It is my home. You really think I'm going to scream over some low-grade poison?" One of the thugs storms up, furious. "You're asking for death," Zhang roars. "I am Zhang Yuming. I would rather die standing than live on my knees." The enemies murmur among themselves. "Well, if that's what you want, then fine. This court will grant it." The terrified man steps forward while the poisoned wielder retreats. He draws a blade that glows with an unknown element and presses it against Zhang's face. Tears well up in Zhang's eyes as he speaks. "Forgive me, Your Majesty. I can no longer protect you. Linger, I'm sorry I won't be around to see you get married or have children. To my wife, I'm sorry for that fight we had last night." Then, an explosion erupts with a deafening boom. Someone is approaching. A voice calls out. A boy bursts in, quickly taking one of them down. He turns and shouts, "Mr. Zhang, are you all right?" Zhang, his eyes filled with tears, responds, "Your Excellency." The prince casually replies, "Good morning, Mr. Zhang." Why the tears? He glares directly at Bai Qinglian. "You've got guts kidnapping my chef like that." His aura begins to surge outward, the protagonist unleashing his full power and wiping them all out in that moment. But he likely killed Zhang as well. Moreover, he just encountered the Empress, which means he has to be cautious. Instead, he launches directly at the first enemy. Bai Qinglian shouts for everyone to stop, revealing that Zhang has a worm inside him. If you lose control, the pain alone will be enough to kill him before anything else can. Our boy approaches Zhang slowly. "I believe you're mistaken. He already appears to be in plenty of pain." The enemies are left dumbfounded. "Are they really being joked with right now?" The poison user says, "Prince, I put that worm in him. There is no cure. He's going to die. Got it? If you don't believe me, just ask him. Go on, Zhang. Tell him yourself. Let the prince know you're a gunner." A green-haired woman chimes in. "Isn't he one of your closest friends, Prince? You should really be looking after him." Zhang, completely confused, wonders aloud, "What's going on here? What are these people doing?" The prince leans in and asks, "Zhang, are you really dying?" Zhang hadn't even realized it was the prince standing there. He replies, "Your daughter told me that when she was 6, you used to, fart in her face." Everyone suppresses a laugh. Zhang glares, questioning why you would bring that up just to prove your identity. He starts yelling, "Linger is dead. How could she possibly remember something like that from when she was 6? One of the palace guards says, "Prince, as you can see, it seems there's been a misunderstanding." The protagonist sighs and responds, "Can you all stop talking like cliché villains for just 5 seconds? Embarrassed, one of them replies, "Sorry, my bad. I'm just used to it." The prince then turns to the poisoner and demands the antidote. The man takes out his stick of incense. Mr. Zhang takes a deep breath. "Well, did it work?" Zhang replies, "Prince, this just calms the creature down. It's not an antidote." The prince narrows his eyes. It's not an easy situation to navigate. Antidote. Goodbye, King Lee, she quickly adds. We just wanted to help him relax a bit. Perhaps we can trade the real antidote for our lives. How does that sound? Mr. Zhang interrupts. Prince, don't agree to that. They'll compel you to sign a heaven and earth pact. Once you do, you'll never be able to harm them again. Don't worry about me. I have no regrets about dying here, as long as this wicked temple is erased from existence. The people from the temple look stunned. We needed Zhang to fear for his life so that the prince would relent. The protagonist calmly replies, fine, I'll sign the blood contract. He turns to Zhang and says, if you die, who's going to cook delicious food for me? And let's not forget, if you die, Linger will bother me non-stop. She'll be crying all day. Xiaoxian begins to speak. Here's a piece of advice for the future. The path of the heavens is through reincarnation. In exchange for the antidote to save Zhang Ming, Xiao Shen promises to spare all of you. He won't harm anyone. Then he says, the blood pact has been established. The poison user pulls out a small purple orb. If he swallows it, the worms will disappear. The prince urges them to seize their opportunity. He and Zhang then leave. Once they're gone, the lackeys breathe a sigh of relief. Finally, he's gone. But Qinglian turns to one of them and says, put one of those worms in everyone who handles intelligence gathering. How did none of them realize the prince was this strong? The poison guy, trembling, replies, yeah, it's unbelievable. Just a pack of dogs. They said all that guy did was eat and drink. The muscular guy asks, so what do we do now? Qinglian responds that this situation is beyond their control now, and only the higher-ups can handle it. At least the blood contract says he can't touch us, but we can do whatever we want to him. I'm going to make him suffer. Suddenly, one of the women shouts, my lord, what shall we do now? Stop reaching. No, seriously, take a look. He turns in surprise and sees that the prince and Mr. Zhang had met. They never left. They were simply watching the entire situation unfold. The protagonist steps out and says, you know what I think about people like you. Zhang, curious, asks, what prince? The protagonist replies, old dogs don't learn new tricks. Zhang chuckles, realizing he didn't expect the prince to take pleasure in watching his enemy squirm. The prince continues walking toward them. I gave you a chance to change and do the right thing, but I'm disappointed. By Qinglian stammers, I was just joking, prince. You know we have a blood pact, right? Zhang sighs. I knew it. I knew they would pull something like this. It's my fault. If I weren't here, the prince felt confident in his abilities. Qinglian warned him, Prince, remember the contract. If you attack us, the heavenly laws will strike you down. Our boy says to stop repeating the same line. As I see now that I'm the real target of your temple, aren't I? Goodbye, Qinglian. I underestimated you. At first, I thought you simply wanted to end my relationship with the Empress. By Qinglian is left stunned. Is he really going to break up his relationship with her? The protagonist continues. That's why you sent. That old swamp man is after me. Bei replies that he died by your hands. Come on, you really think I would kill innocent people? He took his own life right in front of me, okay? Mr. Zhang finally pieces it all together and sets up the prince as Wang Yang. The others come to the same realization. Wait, you made that guy choose death over facing you? The prince asks. No doubt about it. You still don't feel any guilt, do you? Still trying to paint me as some kind of killer? It seems you're all rotten to the core. Well, Fen, today I'm bringing you to the heavenly palace. One man spits venom while you, bound by a blood pact, show no fear of heavenly punishment. The protagonist effortlessly blocks it. These cheat tricks don't work on me. He unleashes a one-handed energy wave so powerful that it tears a hole through the building. Where did that guy go? It seems like he was vaporized. Mr. Zhang gasps. Prince, what have you done? The contract is about to activate. Above, the sky begins to. The sky darkens, filled with thunderous energy. Zhang looks up. As expected, the laws of heaven and earth cannot be broken. Qinglian begins to laugh, saying, "Ha, you really think you'll walk out of here alive now?" A purple dragon descends from the sky. The villains all begin to smile wickedly. However, the protagonist locks eyes with the dragon and boldly challenges. If you've got the guts, try to take my head. The dragon pauses, then lets out a deep, rumbling growl, its eyes narrowing as it surveys the landscape before it. It slowly approaches him, coiling around him, flying gently in circles behind his back, almost as if to protect him. Zhang watches in amazement. Unbelievably, it returned to the heavens. The protagonist mutters, "So that's the blood." He raises his hand, and the contract dissolves instantly. It has no effect on the descendants of Yang, and everyone stares in horror. Who is this man, and why are the heavenly rules not applicable to him? They throw themselves to the ground, groveling before him. Your Excellency, I know I was wrong. Please spare me. I truly regret everything. But their pleas are met with a firm response. Unfortunately, I can't do that. You're lunatics, maniacs. I already went against my better judgment by sparing you once. Maybe I'm just too soft-hearted, but since your cultivation is quite decent, I'll give you one more chance. This is your last chance. I will count to 3, and each of you will share one good thing you've done in your life. If I approve, it means you might still be worth saving. They exchange glances deep in thought. He's strong, but he's also a simple-minded fool. All we need to do is concoct a story, and he'll let us go. Mr. Zhang speaks up, saying, Prince, you need to establish some kind of rule. They could easily lie to you. But our boy responds, Zhang, that kind of thinking is exactly the problem. This world is already dark and challenging. If those in power, like me, do not choose the path of light, the sun will never break through the darkness. They're already lost in the shadows. Why not give them a chance to step into the light? He turns to the 3 of them. You 3, ready. 3, they blink. What do you mean? Before they can finish, he waves goodbye and walks away. He hurls them straight through a portal. Zhang stares in disbelief. Stunned, he realized that he had been playing those poor guys the entire time. The prince casually brushes off his hands and reflects. What's the point of being strong if I can't even help others? As he walks away, Zhang remarks, Prince, if the Dark Soul Palace is completely destroyed, the Wang Empire will finally achieve long-term stability along the southern border. The prince shoots me a glance. I show just a hint of power, and you're already trying to give me orders. Zhang scratches his head sheepishly and says, well, you know what they say. Those who can do more should do more. He responds, offended. Unbelievable. So, you're just a heartless opportunist, he thinks to himself, and if I reveal how strong I really am, the Empress will have even more work to deal with. She'll begin strategizing and planning conquests. I can't allow my power to be exposed like that. He turns back to Zhang. Here's your warning. When you return, you cannot tell anyone what you saw today. Zhang, wide-eyed, nods quickly. The prince continues, your daughter already knows I'm powerful, but this whole dark palace business stays between us. In the next scene, we see bodies scattered across the ground. It's time to finish collecting what they owe us. Zhang asks, owe what us? They arrive at a sealed door, and the prince places his hand on it, causing it to open. Inside, another massive pile of treasure catches the prince's attention. He turns to the system and asks, how much is in there? The system replies, emergency. Maintenance is in progress. Zetian frowns and urges the system to wake up and calculate. The system sighs, reporting that there are 32 million spirit stones available. May I resume upgrading? It asks. The prince dismisses it with a wave. He glances at the treasure, unimpressed. Only 32 million stones, nowhere near enough to make up for what they did. In the end, this place feels more like the Palace of Poverty. Mr. Zhang makes an offer, but we only generate 10 million a year in the Empire. This is worth a lot, sir. The prince sighs and replies, well, I suppose it's a decent compensation. Zhang frowns, questioning the compensation. Shouldn't this be turned over to the Imperial Treasury? The protagonist blinks. Turn it over to the treasury? No. This entire pile right here is compensation from Bai Qingyan to us. I was meant to be at home, enjoying delicious food and sipping wine. But no, because of that cursed dark palace, I had to come all the way out here. Just think about it, the trouble they caused. The stress you experienced made it difficult for me to leave my house and come all the way here. When you add everything up, it totals at least 37 million, yet we only have 32 million in the vault. Tech, this place still owes us 5 million. Mr. Zhang watches, baffled. Why is he keeping track of debts owed by those who are already dead? Prince, your accounting skills are truly impressive. She used all her charm in an attempt to win over our laid-back guy. She said that if he took her home, she'd enjoy a nice bath right next to him. Our boy widened his eyes, fully realizing the shameless woman's intentions. With complete confidence, she thought to herself, I know how all men are, but she gets hit on the head. She collapses to the ground, clutching her head and gazing up at him, completely bewildered by the rejection. Then we discover that this trickster has some serious masochistic tendencies. Just look at her face. She's glowing with excitement, eager for more. She runs straight at R. The guy is begging for more, completely freaked out and unsure of what to do next. If he hits her, she'll like it, he claims. I think there's something a little off about the way you think, don't you? We humans already endure so much in life. How can you possibly enjoy getting hit? He gently touches her forehead and says, if you're struggling with something, you can tell me. She responds that what she truly loves is receiving things without having to do anything for them. Annoyed, the prince smacks her on the head and says, have you lost your mind? That makes no sense, woman. You need to live a life of accomplishments. Don't even think about doing nothing. Do you hear me? Naturally, she's wearing a face full of pleasure, and he clearly hasn't noticed that she's enjoying every moment of this. Then, the shameless one remarks that it's not that weird. He simply doesn't understand. Our boy prepares to strike her again, but now she gives him an innocent look, as if she wants another one. He thinks to himself, this girl has some unusual preferences. He then asks if he could take her to her relative's place. She replies that her parents killed each other and died together. In an attempt to impart a life lesson, he advises her to put effort into her life and work hard. She's down on her knees, insisting she won't do that, clearly just fishing for another slap. And let's give it up for the artist. This panel is incredible. The guy is really putting in the work today. Our naive guy raises his hand to strike her once more. He pauses to think and suddenly realizes that the more he argues with her, the more excited she becomes. Frustrated, he throws a rock to the ground, contemplating his next move. At that moment, an old man appears, calling out to the prince. Linger and Sister Lou spot our main character and immediately start to wonder where he found this boosted hobo. Our boy turns his back to leave when she says, "May I ride on your back?" In case you're not familiar, a concubine is essentially a side woman. Asian emperors and kings often had many of them, sometimes as many as 15, just in their presence. Totally irritated, the prince orders her to turn around and walk away. The homeless girl greets him with a smile, as if she takes pleasure in his insults. Meanwhile, everyone is wondering if the prince truly encountered such a peculiar beggar, and why he seems so agitated. Sister Lou steps in, "Your Excellency," but our guy interrupts her and turns to the old man. He instructs that this woman should be given a task, requiring her to work around the clock, with guards monitoring her at all times. Bam! Another smack on the head. "Got it," she replies, saying she understands. However, Linger and Sister Lou had already caught on to her little act. Raising his hand, our guy says goodbye and tells the old man to take care of this crazy one. The old man is left wondering how the prince could go chasing flowers when he already has an empress. Oh, troubles are brewing in our boy's love life. Tearing up, he says that women are so exhausting. He just wants to go home, have a drink, enjoy some of Zong's cooking, and relax. The scene shifts to a garden, where we see the beggar girl thinks that guy is truly something special. "Ever since I lost my parents, no one has dared to hit me to teach me a lesson." This feeling of being disciplined is clear. We already know she's into getting smacked, despite her innocent appearance. She never imagined she would meet someone who would offer her an opportunity like this. Suddenly, a surge of energy drops in front of the royal guards appear, and they refer to her as Empress as well. That explains why all the empresses in this kingdom are drawn to him. But listen, girl, he enjoys being spoiled, so you'll need to put in some effort. The guards are watching her closely, and she is already beginning to transform. I told you, the artist really put in the effort today. Just look at the perfection in this design. It exudes strength. I'm definitely noting this one down. In the next panel, she enters with even more power and asks what's going on. One of the guards explains that the sacred demon sect, the Black Soul Palace, and the Dongyan Empire combined could bring about the destruction of the Yan dynasty. Since the sacred demon sect was founded by her 18th brother, she feels compelled to get involved. However, the beggar, now revealed to be an empress with 2 massive airbags, expresses her uncertainty. She knows her brothers typically seize these wars as opportunities to claim the throne, which makes this a potential plan to eliminate her. Additionally, she is aware that the Black Soul Palace has lost many of its members, so she cannot rely on their support. If that's the case, they will use every available resource to sway the people of the Yan dynasty. They aim to dismantle the dynasty from within. The guards begin brainstorming strategies to sway the townspeople. Meanwhile, Se-wan can't shake the image of our guy arguing with her from her mind. However, she is already growing frustrated that the guards have yet to uncover any information. She conjures a cloud bearing the protagonist's image and announces that tomorrow she will travel to the Imperial City to investigate the situation. She needs to get a closer look at that man. The 3 guards are instantly taken aback by the presence of the great king of soft rice. Se-wan thinks to herself, "What? King? God of rice? What does that even mean?" She has no idea what the nickname implies. One of the girls points at the small cloud with the protagonist and explains, "Your Majesty, that man is the Empress's husband in the Yan dynasty and the current prince, Xiao Dian. He's an incredibly ordinary guy who knows exactly how to use his charm and personality to win women over. That's how he ended up with the Empress. He also derailed the Prime Minister's entire plan. However, because he excels at managing the city, people began calling him for assistance. The phrase, ordinary human, flies right past her. She expresses that she doesn't like being tempted by anyone. However, now she's wondering how she can get her hands on Xiaotian. She wants him to take care of her. She's already envisioning herself sitting in his lap. Oh boy, if the first Empress finds out about this, she truly plans to unleash the horns on the other Empress. With that look on her face, she says that just thinking about it makes her feel so excited. Excited, she rests her chin on her hand and starts to wonder, what if the Empress catches us? That would be wild. Just look at our protagonist's face, my goodness. She's completely insane, everyone. Then she stands up and declares it a mistake. I made a huge mistake from the very beginning. The guards ask, what mistake, your majesty? What happened? I should never have let him leave my side. I wanted him close to me. The guards are probably thinking, whoa, is she saying she wants to get involved with him? But she is the mighty Empress of the demonic realm, with pure demon blood running through her veins, and she desires to be with a plain old human. The guard on the left speaks up, Your Majesty, are you messing with us? Then the Empress, with her imposing presence, responds. She sits down and says, do you really think I joke about something so serious? Haven't you ever heard of love at first sight? The guards insist that it's not a real thing. Steahan confesses that she didn't believe in it either, but now she does. The guards are in shock, struggling to understand what that man did to her. Something isn't right. The Empress expresses that they'll never truly understand him. He's not just sweet, he understands her as well. It's a surprise to everyone. On top of that, he imparts meaningful lessons. Beaming, she reflects on how long it's been since someone taught her a proper lesson. This feeling is incredible. She turns to her friends and says, you girls need to help me find him fast. We'll transform this garden into the venue for our celebration. At the wedding, the ladies nearby are whispering that Xiao Qian is far more dangerous than we initially realized. How did he manage to trap an empress, one who has never been ensnared before, fallen for anyone, in just one day? Back at the protagonist's home, he remembers the moment she said, I want you to take care of me. Now, he's left wondering, take care of? What does that even mean? It's such a strange request. Linger approaches and asks, what's wrong, Prince? Sister? Lu points out that he hasn't eaten and must be hungry. In the next scene, our boy is served a meal by Mr. Zhang, who has prepared 4 special kinds of meat just for him. Look at how the prince is already drooling like a big baby. He may not know anything about martial arts. When it comes to cooking, this guy is at the top of his game. Everyone stares as the chubby guy digs in. After a while, Linger asks, Your Majesty, what was bothering you earlier? Our protagonist asks, please don't laugh when I tell you. Everyone has that mischievous little smirk and says, all right. Then he confesses that someone asked him to take care of it. Mr. Zhang bursts out laughing in his face. Mr. Zhang, you're laughing? He grabs him by the face. No, sir, not at all. Please, go on with your story. He then explains everything. I advised her to be independent, but she continues to depend on me. Lu bursts into laughter right in his face. Oh, sit down. Don't even try to hide it. I can see your shoulders shaking. Our protagonist stands up and declares, I'm serious. My reputation is on the line here. Linger erupts in laughter. Frustrated, he declares, that's enough. You're all going to get smacked. In the next scene, they have a bump on their head, and it appears they're in training. Everyone is thinking the same thing. The laziest prince alive, who doesn't want to lift a finger, is talking about taking care of someone. How can I not laugh at that? Our boy leaves Linger to continue his training and walks off with determination. Sister Lu asks him what's bothering him. He's in full philosopher mode, expressing that sometimes it's not such a bad thing to help others see the light. Who says that someone from the darkness doesn't yearn for the light? Staring at the book in his hands, he mutters, damn it, the system's always updating. I can't even watch anime anymore. All I can do now is read this book while sitting beside the Empress. He begins to reflect on the old man's story, which is full of contradictions, and his curiosity grows. If that were true, then where did he get so many spirit stones? Something isn't adding up. Did I overlook something? The Empress appears taken aback. What is it? She asks. He replies, it's nothing, just thinking about a few things. She changes the subject and asks if the meat she tasted yesterday was from King Yang City. He nods and replies, yes, it's from the mountain. That place is a treasure trove. The crops grow quickly, and the meat is of the highest quality. Speaking of meat, it comes from the pigs he had someone raise. The Empress informs him that one of Lu's subordinates, Lu being the prime minister, is complaining that the prince is setting the market prices too high due to the meat. With a smug expression, he claims the prices are fair, emphasizing that it takes a tremendous amount of effort to raise those pigs, and that rare items naturally come with a higher cost. I spent a fortune setting up the protective formations and purchasing the necessary materials. All the ingredients were provided, and they were fed, yet there was still a need to hire people to oversee the pigs. Additionally, they are located high in the Qingyang Mountains, so the price is understandable. If you'd like, Your Majesty, I could have a little chat with them. Chat? That sounds like bullying, she replies. He throws up his hands with a dopey grin and says, No, I never do anything like that. The Empress tells him she doesn't believe a word of it. The last time someone complained about the wine prices, they ended up getting beaten by Linger. He quickly apologizes and admits that it was indeed a mistake. The Empress responds that he will have to face punishment for it. Our boy thinks to himself that he must accept the punishment. But then, the Empress gives him a sly smile. Your punishment is to head up to King Yang Mountain, bring back one of those pigs, and join me for a drink tonight. He lights up with a big grin. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Already thinking ahead, I knew my wife wouldn't actually punish me. I'm going to choose the best pig and prepare the perfect dinner for us. Then he connects the dots. Pigs in King Yang, and just like that, he remembers the beggar girl. Prince, I'm just stealing one little pig from you, idiot. Since you won't take care of me, I'm going to take everything for myself. Now he's fuming. Damn it, I shouldn't have gone so easy on her. Those pigs are incredibly valuable. Even one could provide a comfortable life. With two, you'd never have to worry about money again. She asks me, the soft rice king, to take care of her. What a joke she was just after my pigs. That conniving, the Empress is about to ask what's wrong, but our protagonist's expression reveals a deeper concern. They were already bolting out of there, yelling that someone was stealing the pigs. She's left standing there as if she's stealing pigs. Back with the beggar girl. Her friends are helping to fix up her outfit. She truly embodies the spirit of an empress. And just like that, our boy arrives. The airbag Empress becomes completely flustered. How can you show up like this? I'm not even ready. Just look at my clothes. They like them, but in the next panel, she's glowing with excitement. Our guy covers his mouth in disbelief. She sold all my pigs, and now she's already filthy rich. The girls exchange glances, completely bewildered. Then he points at her and says, I didn't have high expectations for you, but I didn't think you'd betray my trust like this. You sold all my pigs. The crazy one is thinking, oh no, he misunderstood. He believes I sold the pigs. But wow, he looks so good when he's angry. Fuming, he demands to know how much she sold them for. She replies that those animals weren't worth much. A concubine like her doesn't need them, but our guy interrupts her and pulls out a massive green pig. A King Yang pig sells for 100,000 notes in Yanbao City, with each note valued at thousands of spirit stones. The Empress informs him that such a sum is merely a drop in the ocean for someone like her. She then instructs the guard to bring in the thank you gift. Wow, look at that box overflowing with spirit stones. Our boy is on the verge of losing it. The girl approaches him and explains that there are over 1 million low-grade stones in this place. Please accept. Our guy's jaw drops. Just yesterday, she was a beggar, and now she's throwing cash around like it's nothing. He stares at her in disbelief. Something feels off. Is this really the same poor girl? Even if the airbags are the same size, you can't identify someone solely based on that. I need to take a closer look at this. She's probably trying to mess with me. He steps in closer. You're trying to trick me, aren't you? You think this is funny? With a swift motion, he smacks her on the head. Feeling a bit flustered, she shyly offers her apologies. And just like that, he knows. Damn it, it's her. He locks eyes with her. You, why you? Still reeling. Yesterday, she was broke, and now she's throwing money around. What on earth is happening? Cutting straight to the point, she grabs his arm, sits him down, and says, my name. His name is Lu Sayun, but he raises an eyebrow. Lu, as in, are you looking for love or something? What were your parents thinking when they chose that name? She tells him it's the name of a concubine and asks if he likes it. He replies that it sounds nice, but he's already on his feet and walking away. The former beggar takes his hand and says, as the eldest princess of the Jiangsu Empire, I find my country in grave danger. My father has commanded me to take the secret library and escape to a distant location. The problem is that she lacks the power necessary to rebuild the nation. The cultivation techniques she knows require cooperation between a man and a woman. Just yesterday, she was testing him, seeking a husband she can trust completely, someone who will stand by her side in the mission to restore the country. She is convinced that he is the one. Our protagonist is lost in thought once more. Damn it, I really am the soft rice king. The people of Yan, they're all prophets. She's glancing sideways, wondering to herself if she came on too strong. Did she overdo the whole situation? In a moment of honesty, our protagonist declares, I'm sorry, but I can't assist you. I am already the prince of this nation and your husband. It seems unfair to have one man with 2 wives. Furthermore, the Empress is wealthier than you. So take this money and go rebuild your empire. She replies shyly that the money in that box is insignificant. She's far wealthier than the Empress. Our guy believes she's underestimating Ju. She possesses a treasure that contains hundreds of thousands of stones. Suddenly, a massive golden door swings open, spilling light into the room. And our guy immediately understands. There are billions of spirit stones in there. As he gazes at her, smug and self-satisfied, he thinks to himself that her treasure truly is greater than the Empress's. Oh, that explains why this beggar is so well fed. He turns to her and you really are richer than Juhuan. But as I mentioned, money can't fix everything. I'd prefer to stay right here, comfortable and happy. And he raises his hand. She is filled with anticipation, eagerly waiting. He gently reaches out and gives her a soft tap. You're late. Next time, avoid being reckless and flaunting your treasure in front of everyone. Boom. Nailed it. And just like that, she goes wild. She has a concubine. She admits she's falling even harder for him. The more he turns her down, the more her desire grows. With his hand on his forehead, he mutters, "Damn it, I always forget this girl has some unusual traits." She steps closer and says, "Well, to start, how about we just be friends? That way you won't get in trouble." He looks at her, confused. "Friends? What do you mean by that?" She replies, "Yeah, just normal friends like anyone else. We'll keep it casual. Since I'll be taking up your time, I'll pay you $1 million a month just to talk to me." You and our guy start sweating. $1 million? Damn, that's rich girl behavior, spending like it's nothing. "No, I can't be a bride for money," she insists. He crosses his arms and responds, "That money is meant for restoring your nation. You want to use it on me? No way. Absolutely not." However, she knows how to sway him. "Brother Chow, you love doing good for the people of Yan, don't you? But you know you can't help everyone," he replies. "What? Are you trying to lecture me now?" She decides to be bold and offers a suggestion. "With all those millions I'm offering, it could help so many more people. And the ones who benefits from her support may play a role in rebuilding the kingdom of Mo later on." She presses her body against Chow and says, "So, what do you think of your concubine's proposal? Isn't it thoughtful? Isn't this the perfect opportunity? Say yes, Brother Chow." He's considering $1 million just for a conversation. If it were a fight, he might be too lazy to engage. But since it's just some small talk, it could benefit the Empire as well. To support the Empress, he figures he can allow her to deceive him a bit. He states that, for the people of Yan, he will accept the donation. The busty ex-beggar immediately latches onto his arm. "Let's start talking right now," she insists. He tells her to stop clinging to him as it's uncomfortable. He agreed to chat, but that's all. He warns her not to get carried away and not to try anything funny, unless she offers even more money, of course. Cut to the next scene, where our protagonist is heading home. One of the guys, Prince, greets him and asks, "How's everything?" He replies, "It's all good." But his thoughts remain fixated on the beggar girl. "I sold myself, didn't I? $3 million a month. There's so much I could do with that. All I have to do is scold her once in a while. Honestly, it's not a bad deal." He thinks about being back with her. She's sitting there, heartbroken. She admitted that she already missed him the moment he left. The guards are so stunned that they seem to have lost all expression. One of them declares, "It's over. The Empress is finished." Suddenly, two shadows emerge in their garden. Oh boy, look who it is. The two geniuses of the Yan dynasty. One of them steps forward and says, "Your Excellency, are you the new matriarch of the sacred demon sect?" He's about to get crushed by our protagonist once again. He's flushed and blushing, lost in thought. Holy crap, she's gorgeous. That's just her face. She's stunning in every way. Pretty stacked, too. Just then, a surge of energy coursed through the room. Powerful blasts erupt between father and son. Right in the bastard's eye, the beggar-turned-empress growls, her voice dripping with disdain. "How dare you look at me like that?" She gives orders to her guard. "Crush this worm." The father is already shaking in his boots. Her guard rushes in with a flying kick, but the kid successfully blocks it. Boom! Explosions erupt all around him, sending him flying backward. They're still at it when he yells, "Why are you doing this? What's happening?" This was supposed to be their big moment to win over the Empire. We see the father kneeling beside his son, who is covering both eyes. It appears the boy is blind. The son is screaming, and the woman has lost her sanity. She is completely out of her mind. "What do you want from me?" she coldly asks. The father tries to explain that he came after hearing the sacred demon sect was in town and wanted to meet with her. Guards rush in to confront her. "Your son clearly knows nothing about etiquette," one says. "He barges in unannounced and stares at our matriarch like that. Who does he think he is? What value does he believe he has?" The old man thinks to himself, "I need to calm this down. We can't let our plan fall apart like this." He turns to her and pleads, "What can I do to make up for this offense? Please, name anything." The best-dressed beggar he has ever seen replies, "If you want my forgiveness, it's simple. That man, Xia Tian, the prince of your princess, is the one I've chosen." Boom. Score another 10 points for our boy. You must assist him in every way possible. If anything happens to him, I will destroy everyone in this pavilion. She exhales a terrifying aura, leaving those around her in a state of unease. A guy is trembling, completely lost. Wait, the matriarch of the demon sect is this powerful, and she's asking me to support him? She wants me to help that brat, Xiao Tian. I was mistaken. He's not just some random guy. He's a demon sent to this world. He's somewhat good-looking, and at times, he appears to be a decent person who draws others in. He slaps his own face. What am I thinking? I'm losing it. This guy is really losing it, isn't he? Let's get him out of here so our friend can enjoy life with his wifess. Meanwhile, the busty beggar asks Stowe if he has made up his mind yet, adding that desperate measures like that won't work on her. Finally, he agrees to help. She warns him that Xiao Tian must not find out. If she loses the man she desires, he already knows what the consequences will be. She picks up her useless son and turns to leave, frustrated. This is the biggest challenge I've faced since becoming prime minister. Now I have to walk around smiling at Xiao Tian, as if everything is perfectly fine. This rebellious son of mine nearly derailed years of careful planning. She throws the poor guy to the ground and says, if I had more time, I'd kill you and regenerate you. If you just stop getting involved in things, you wouldn't cause me so many problems. Whoa. Meanwhile, the son is down there thinking, soon enough, I'll kill him. What a lovely, healthy family so full of love. Who is once again considering placing horns on the Empress's head, the demon beggar woman. As soon as he discovers what I did behind the scenes, he will throw himself into my arms, moved without hesitation. On that day, Empress Royan might even consider accepting the role of concubine. The guard watching from a distance thinks to herself, she's hopeless. She doesn't even know what's going on in her own head anymore. Night falls, and the boy lies in bed, wide awake, with dark circles under his eyes that rival those of Ephraim from Death Note. He grumbles to himself, frustrated. Damn it, where's my system? I can't sleep without my little anion. Then, bam! The Great Master system is finally done upgrading. Chell exclaims, finally, about time. He begins to glow with an aura. Sir, do you need any assistance at the moment? Suddenly, a strikingly well-endowed system assistant appears on screen. Our boy is pale and trembling, pointing and asking, System, is that you? She replies, yes, master. How did you end up here? She explains that as his servant, her form is tied to his body, and this is the automatic form she has taken. She adds that her outfit is based on his preferences. Our guy keeps pointing and shouting. Makes no sense. When would I ever have a hobby like that? The system is ruining my innocence for no reason. Then he mutters, whatever, let's sleep. Activate my sleep mode. Good night. She replies. He begins the process, glancing at her out of the corner of his eye. As she fades away, he casually, I prefer black tights, by the way, she mutters, and there it is. The system undergoes an immediate transformation. I will do whatever you say, master. Now that's a proper system. She activates sleep assistance, protecting him from spiritual attacks and nightmares. Suddenly, a heavy rain begins to fall. However, since the barrier draws on his energy, nothing can penetrate it. Then the system softly says, sleep well, master. All the meters strike, but nothing comes in. The system recognizes these as memories and nightmares from the protagonist's past. Did he carry all of this with him from Earth? She glances at one of the memories. There's our boy playing with a kitten. A voice announces, Lu Tian, age 9, rank 27. Zhu Tian, at just 10 years old. Xiao secured an impressive 8th place. Tian, age 6, is number 1. A nearby kid asks, this kid is 6? 6 years old on what? Then, he feeds his pet, and suddenly it grows to an enormous size. That's when Leader Fuster, Xiao Tian's father, arrives. Little Xiao Tian salutes him and says he's doing his best. His dad replies, good, you won't disappoint me. If you want a reward, just let me know and I'll bring it to you. But our little guy shakes his head. Then the dad asks, so you trained this dog yourself? Xiaoho nods and says, yeah, he's well-behaved and smart. With enough training, he'll be number 1. Oh no, I can sense something bad approaching. The father says, you clearly care about him a lot. It's the first time I've heard you speak so many words at once. What's his name? The boy replies, Wang. Kai is my buddy. At that moment, Wang jumps up and starts licking his chin. The dad then says, Cao Tian, even though you're young, it's time for me to give you your first mission. Yes, I knew it. Here comes the bomb. Our boy responds, yes, sir. The dad hands him a loaded pistol, and he says, kill him, pointing at Wang. Guys, I'm about to dive into this story just to put an end to this psycho dad. He wants him to kill Wang Kai. Get out of here, you lunatic. Suddenly, the memory shatters. It feels as though our protagonist felt a deep sadness. Don't worry, my boy. You can stay, he reassured. You're lazy now, but you'll never have to go through that again. The current Wang Kai in the system states, I really like that name, dear master. The next morning, our protagonist wakes up yawning, still feeling half asleep. He's heading to the main hall to discuss plans with the ministers. He wants to build an orphanage, but he still needs the emperor's approval. Honestly, if it weren't for the others insisting, he wouldn't even attend. He'd prefer to stay away. He hands over the money and calls it a day. Everyone greets him respectfully as he strolls away, casually yawning and mumbling about how sleepy he feels. The prime minister spots the prince and inquires, ah, prince, did you sleep well last night? I have some calming incense at home that I could bring you. The nearby guards are stunned, their mouths hanging open in disbelief. Even Zhou Ken is taken aback. He points at the man and says, you think I don't know? That incense of yours is likely some kind of poison meant to kill me. Now he's fuming. This prime minister is becoming bolder by the day. Should I just kill him already? Damn, there are too many people around. It's not worth it. Calm down, Zhou Qian. He's important to the empire. If I kill him, I'll only create more work for myself. Ah, forget it. Fine. Meanwhile, the old man thinks to himself, poison you, bastard. If it weren't for that crazy woman, I'd show you what real death looks like. But he says aloud, Prince, I think you misunderstood. I truly just want to care for someone as important as you, and gives a big thumbs up. Some of the things you've been doing lately have truly shown me what kind of person you are. You are, without a doubt, the soft rice god. That title belongs to our boy is stunned, thinking, damn it, he yelled out my title in public. That bastard. Everyone around begins to chuckle. Oh, you jerk, you dead. As the conference comes to a close, attendees begin to leave. The Empress turns to the protagonist and asks why the Prime Minister has been so supportive of them. She wonders if the Prime Minister has finally realized how important Zhou Qian is to this dynasty. He says he was just as surprised by the guy's support, noting that his attitude changed overnight. Then he adds, Your Majesty, you should have seen the smile he gave me when he saw me. Mr. Zhang and his wife share the same confusion, not quite understanding what is happening. Our boy sighs, wondering what's going on. All right, I've got to go. It's getting late. He bolts out, yelling, Majesty, I will return later to be with you. Mr. Zhang shouts, What's going on, Prince? Where are you off to? What do you want to eat, my boy? The protagonist replies, I'm going to make money, and I'm not coming back for food. The two of them stare at each other, contemplating the idea of money. Make him, one finally asks, and the other responds with a knowing nod. The Empress assumes it must be a little side cash she gave him. Well, I suppose that's all there is to it. However, he is already planning to open an orphanage and help many people. She will need to find a reason to start giving him more money. Our protagonist writes in his journal, on September 15, the weather was pleasant. However, breakfast at the palace was as terrible as usual. This morning, I visited Kai Yuan. She wanted to enjoy a hot bath, springs. There was nothing I could do. It's not wrong, as the money is going to support good causes. Cash Yuan remarked, My lord, you'll catch a cold if you bathe with your clothes on. Then she clung to him and added, Your nose is bleeding. He told her not to worry about him. Just enjoy your bath. He mentions that the sauna was large and notes, See me in very white. If you know, you know. On September 16, I met the Prime Minister. He kept cracking jokes to make me laugh, but something about him feels off. Oh, and Kai Yuan pretended to twist her ankle so he would give her a massage. Can you help me out? I'll pay you for your hard work, he grumbled. Damn it, looks like I've got more work to do. Later, he handed money to Mr. John, who was utterly confused. How is this kid bringing in 5 million every day? By on the 17th, our guy was completely exhausted. Poor thing has been overworking himself. Life is getting tough. Kai Yuan was already urging, Brother, come inside. It's cold and rainy out. But he insisted they would stay right there. He thought to himself, damn it, Kai Yuan is making way too much progress. How is this happening? She just started cuddling him. I think it's time to teach her a lesson. She's been pushing it lately. And can you believe the lesson our boy gave to the well-fed beggar? While he was disciplining her, she had the audacity to tell him he needed to work harder. He knew she was doing it on purpose, and he didn't like it one bit. He blackmailed her with it and even gave more money to John, who now plans to build a massive orphanage. That night, the Empress was seething over court matters. After she got drunk, only the prince was able to calm her down and help her rest on the 18th of the calendar. He wakes up, drooling, while she simply stares at him. Our protagonist, Kai Yuan, was informed of what happened, and in response, she kicked him. He was completely taken aback. I was confused. What was going on? Why did she get mad about me drooling in my sleep? Next, before he knew it, she grabbed him and planted a big kiss on his lips. He tried to dodge, but she was too quick and managed to land it. She became even angrier when she discovered that this wasn't his first kiss. Now he has to take her for a walk up King Wan Mountain. Fortunately, he'll get to see the pigs along the way. It's not exactly a loss for him. Observing the cut sticks scattered around and staring down a massive pig, which looks more like a dinosaur than anything else, adds to the experience. That thing is huge. He says the place looks incredible, but Kai Yuan keeps glancing around with a serious expression. Still, there's nothing to worry about. Back at home, he sleeps and drools next to his wife. He wakes up and eats, feeling absolutely starving. Palace life is treating him well. At night, the Empress arrives, bottle in hand. The boy says, Empress, let's get some sleep. I think you're tired. However, she steps closer. He tells her that she's been drinking too much and that it's not okay. She responds by saying that lately she's been drinking a lot and her prince just needs to stay by her side a little longer. She admits that she enjoys being drunk. The next chapter begins with Kai Yuan pouring a pile of coins into his lap. Our guy says this is way too much. What does that mean? She says she doesn't just want to talk today. He has to go. They went to the mountains to admire the view while holding hands. The protagonist tells her to stop talking nonsense, asking if she didn't hear what he said yesterday. She responds, Ruthrick's show isn't just for the people of Yan City. It's about your actions too. He remembers the orphanage and says, fine, left hand or right. But I'm telling you now, you're not allowed to hug. Up in the mountains, he mutters, I've got to get back soon for lunch with the Empress. Kai Yuan asks, why go back to her? Why not stay a bit longer with me? The prince reminds her that she knows how things are. He will meanwhile, atop another mountain, an old man observes the Empress as she cultivates. It seems her power has reached an advanced stage. Problem is, this kind of maturation follows the laws of heaven and earth, and there's no way to rush it. The white-haired old man is Zhu Tianji, who has the ability to see people's fates. The prime minister asserts that there is no way the Empress can grow any stronger. However, Tianji believes otherwise. You can't even see other people's future, so why are you giving your opinion? The world's best dad starts yelling, that old man's a bastard. But Tianji calmly boasts, you may be stronger than I am, but none of us have sealed our cultivation bases. So why should I be afraid of you? The two of them watch the Empress, noting that something seems off. She has always been powerful, with a royal bloodline to match. Yet even for her, this kind of progress feels unnatural. Something strange is happening. In the past few weeks, she has gained an entire year's worth of cultivation. Why is that? Clearly, there's some advantage to sleeping next to our favorite lazy boy. Tanji is gritting his teeth, and I can't quite figure out what's happening. That's when one of Sayuan's guards arrives. Tianji asks, is that the matriarch? Someone asks. No, comes the reply. Just one of her guards. Tianji feels a surge of annoyance. If the matriarch is here, why isn't she the one meeting us? What could possibly be more important than this? The guard replies. She's entertaining some special guests. There's no time. That's why I'm taking care of it. The prime minister knows exactly who she's with. That well-fed beggar is infuriating. She's off somewhere with that arrogant prince. They discuss the remarkable power of innate embryo growth, yet the Tianji pavilion has never encountered anything like it before. They are uncertain whether it's a good or bad sign. Tianji claims he has all the information he needs, and just like that, he vanishes. The guard tosses something to the prime minister and says, the matriarch is pleased with how you've been treating Xiaotian, so she's sending this as a reward. He asks, what's this? She replies, it's a cure for your son's eyes. Oh, and she wanted me to mention that Xiaotian said you've been grinning at him like a pervert. Try to act a bit more normal. He nearly has a heart attack. What on earth is that brat saying? To be honest, he was having some strange thoughts. The steam rising around him creates a serene atmosphere. He relaxes, letting the warm water soothe his muscles as he reflects on the events of the day. The gentle sound of water splashing adds to the tranquility, granting him a moment of peace amidst the chaos of life. Nearby, a beggar girl stands watching. He sneezes. It seems someone is speaking ill of me. She says it's because he's wearing too many clothes in the hot sauna. The cold air is chilling his body. He should listen to his concubine and take everything off. He crosses his arms and firmly states, no, that's not going to happen. You're not going to take advantage of me, regardless of the price. Besides, if I take off my clothes and someone walks in, I won't be able to explain that. But the water is getting colder. He says, weird, why is it freezing in here? She glances to the side. He grabs him by the hair from the side. Xia Yuan smirks and says, oh dear husband, aren't you afraid of freezing him to death? He was here. The Empress bursts in, kicking the door wide open. Linger's sister, Liu, watched the prince intently, knowing that she was about to take a life. The busty figure stood poised, ready for the moment to strike. The beggar grins and says, my, the Empress is furious today. Are you sure you've got what it takes? The Empress says, doesn't matter. I just need to. She selects a jutsu, determined to uncover the truth. Straight out of Naruto, dashing forward, slashing through the air with a massive arc of power. The beggar counters with a purple aura swirling around her leg and strikes back, declaring, that's all you've got? Take this thigh smash. This fight is intense. Wow, the beggar is incredibly flexible. It took me a moment, but yes, she blocked it with her leg. She continues to insist that it's easy. Both women charge their auras and lock eyes. The Empress strikes once more. The other one kicks beautifully, by the way. Their powers collide, causing the ground to erupt. Sister Lu and Linger are barely holding on, already bracing themselves for what's to come. Prince, you're in trouble, my friend. If Her Majesty confronts you later, I hope you can show her some mercy. Linger adds, please. Meanwhile, our boy stood there lost in thought, trying to decide what to do next. The next chapter flashes back to a few minutes earlier when the three women were on their way. Linger tells her, "Your Majesty, the hot springs aren't far now. It's a remote place, but the quality is excellent. You trained a lot this morning. You should relax." The Empress expresses her gratitude, but then they hear the prince's voice saying, "None of you are going to fight me, right?" The Empress pauses, realizing, wait, isn't that the prince's voice? The two look at each other, their faces blank. Didn't he say he was going off to make money? The Empress mutters, no, I must have misheard. Just then, they capture the moment when the beggar throws herself at our guy. Fortunately, they witness him reject her, shaking his head as if to say, nope. However, the Empress is still fuming. Who is this woman daring to steal my man? You might expect her to be angry with him, but that's not the case. Our boy stood his ground and turned the beggar down. Back in the present, Linger asks, "Prince, didn't you say you went off to make money?" Our boy confidently states, "I am making money, okay? Where do you think all the cash I'm giving your dad is coming from?" The story then flashes back a few days to the person who asked him to take care of her. The two women erupted in laughter. What could be so amusing? They say, no, we're all laughing at this incredible fight. Do you think Her Majesty is going to win? Who knows? Our guy already has an idea. They're laughing again, just because I'm the soft rice king. With the most innocent face, he says, "I'm making money, you know. Why are you laughing?" They drop to the ground, rolling with laughter. One of them bursts out a joke that sends everyone into fits, while another playfully nudges their friend, adding to the hilarity of the moment. They say, "Oh, Prince, so now you're making money. What's next? Are you going to tell us you're working hard too? Damn. Now, let's return to the epic duel." Sayuan tells the Empress, "Your strength is solid, and your moves are sharp. Unfortunately today, you won't be able to kill me." The Empress expresses her surprise, stating that she believes Sayuan was just an ordinary person and never expected him to possess such extraordinary abilities. However, Xiao Tian is my husband, so I suggest you don't get any funny ideas. Of course, the Empress is a very busy woman managing the empire, so I don't mind if you pour him tea or fetch him when needed. Water. Sayuan smirks and says, "Don't worry, I'm a well-behaved concubine, unlike the Empress, who waits for him to fall asleep just to steal kisses." Oof, now our boy is in trouble. The Empress shoots him a deadly glare. How will he get out of this? Everyone nearby is frozen in shock. The Empress calmly states, "If I wanted a kiss, I wouldn't wait for him to fall asleep. I'd just take one whenever I wanted. I enjoy it when he's asleep." The other two girls are covering their faces as if to say, "Your Majesty, that explanation just made it so much worse." Trying to earn points, the prince remarks, "Well, that little kiss was a nice surprise." The two ladies remark that this prince is anything but ordinary. There's no way to predict what he will say next. Sayuan fires back. She's just a cheap woman taking advantage of him. The Empress responds, "Taking advantage? Please. Xiao Tian is my husband, and I sleep next to him every night. What do you think about that?" The beggar isn't having it. She immediately activates her possessed beggar plus form. Much more powerful now, and certainly better fed. She locks eyes with the Empress and delivers a brutal vertical slash. Our beloved Empress raises a barrier, but it shatters immediately. The beggar descends, and the sight is enveloped in a dark, evil aura. Will our prince need to intervene? Sayuan declares, "I'm already in the 10th realm. The Empress is still in the 9th. She can't defeat me." A massive explosion erupts as our favorite character draws a giant sword and prepares for battle, launching a barrage of ice stones. The supercharged beggar stands firm, creating an impenetrable barrier. "That's all you've got." She mocks them and then charges in once more. "You don't deserve to have Xiao Tian by your side." She strikes her with a wave of energy. "Oh, no, our favorite is getting wrecked. The poor girl is hurting. Someone needs to step in." Xiao Tian is groaning, saying she took a hit right to her internal organs. But she knows she has to hang in there. She's determined not to let anyone take Xiao Tian from her. With that, she unleashes another flurry of ice attacks, declaring, "Now you'll see why I deserve him." This fight is intense. Sayuan unleashes a barrage of purple slashes. Explosions erupt, and smoke fills the air. Our favorite character crashes to the ground, a little worse for wear. Suddenly, Sayuan softens. She recognizes the Empress's serious potential, but also sees that her spiritual body is damaged. Determined, she decides to defeat her first and then help her purify her energy, which will assist her in ascending to the next level. This is her way of compensating for taking Xiao Tian. Someone like the Empress doesn't deserve to die here. With that resolve, she delivers a brutal kick, sending the Empress flying. Sister Lu and Linger are eager to jump in and assist Her Majesty, but the protagonist intervenes. "Trust her. My wife isn't the type. A woman who gives up easily won't fall like this." The girls are talking about the prince. He is really confident and nods. "Let's just watch." There she is, battered but still stunning. Our guy thinks to himself, "Wife, I believe in you. Don't lose." Sayuan steps forward once more. Why don't you just give up already? You're going to die. The end is inevitable. The Empress responds, saying, in a way, I understand how you feel. When you look at Xiao Tian's, you can tell he's been through a lot, yet he always puts on a playful grin when interacting with others. He consistently smiles, as if to mask the weight of his experiences. An idiot. I wasn't expecting that emotional moment. Sai Yuan recalls their walks through the mountains, where she could always sense the loneliness that lingered within him. She confesses to the Empress that she enjoys their arguments, and then she smiles. The Empress blushes, remembering the night Xiao Tian cooked for her. His smile finally illuminated her world, which had always felt dark and empty. And just like that, here it comes. A golden aura begins to glow around her. She's evolving right before our eyes, leaving everyone in total shock. Our protagonist understands exactly what is happening. Sai Yuan realizes it as well. She has just reached the 10th rank. Holy, look at how incredible our Empress looks now. Sai Yuan must summon her full aura. The Empress glares at her and says, he's my husband. I won't let you take him from me. This might be the first manhwa I've ever seen where women level up just to compete for the male lead. Sister Lu asks, Prince, is that why you stopped us? You knew this would happen. Our boy replies, I knew Sai Yuan was assisting her to some extent, but I had no idea what that battle armor was. He wondered if it could be linked to the Yang dynasty. Lingers confused. She realized that Sai Yuan had helped her advance. He said, just closely. He turns around and walks away, determined. There's something he needs to take care of. Up in the sky, the battle rages on, but neither girl can fully comprehend what they are witnessing anymore. Our prince appears once more, gently rubbing his wrist, and requests a handkerchief. Linger then asks, Prince, why is Sai Yuan assisting her in her ascent? He explains that she has been absorbing too much energy lately. Her body was overflowing with energy. I understand that she is indeed overfilled. I believe Sai Yuan aimed to win the fight while also helping her release all that spiritual energy. It's almost like she's paying her back for trying to steal her prince. Linger stands there, hand on her chin. Wow! Even after leveling up, this fight remains intense. She notices the protagonist wiping blood from his hands and asks, whose blood is that? He asks, noting that this entire clash involved 27 people, all from the sacred realm. The girls ask, what did you do? He replies, while you were all looking up, I moved at supersonic speed and took care of them. I was so fast that I ended up getting my hands a little messy. Then the system chimes in, Master, calm down. You're no longer on Earth, where your father sent assassins after you merely for training. You can relax here. Our boy offers an apology, saying he got a little carried away. He tosses the cloth to the system and thanks Wang Kai for his calming presence. The system embraces him, whispering, everything I do is for you, my master. Meanwhile, Lu and Linger are trying to figure out how to stop this madness. The Empress rides a golden dragon, wielding massive swords with grace and power. With a swift motion, she slices straight through the beggar's stomach. The beggar simply asks, why didn't you dodge? Oh snap, it was an illusion. She's behind her now. Were you afraid you might hurt me? She slashes, don't touch me. Then she stares at the airbag and says, you're way too... The Empress counters with a precise slash. Han Mount Linger? She's the smaller one. Our protagonist coughs. Both the sound and the suddenness catch the attention of those nearby. The girls are completely devastated. He's thinking, oh no, she can't find out. The person she respects most just uttered the most devastating words of all. The fight raging on with powers clashing and exploding all around. Fortunately, both of them are decked out in heavy armor to absorb the blows. Our boy doesn't miss. They're both running low on energy now, and at this point they're barely trading insults. Lu Shay expresses concern that this fight could lead to more unnecessary trouble. Our guy begins to stretch. It's time for me to intervene and put a stop to this. Ma'am, you can't do anything. If the Empress discovers your little secret, you're in serious trouble. Both women can feel the tension. The prince is on the verge of unleashing his terrifying strength. He clears his throat and shouts, stop fighting, right now. They both pause mid-air, mouths slightly open. Do you really think we can stop them just by saying that? But, up in the sky, the two of them continue their fierce battle, launching attacks with laser focus. He yells once more, stop it now, I don't want. He pretends to trip, dramatically falling backward. Linger screams Xiao Chen's name as he collapses toward the ground. And just like that, the Empress swoops in to save him. Look at this guy's smug little face, so soft and warm. A perfect landing. The struggle continues over who gets to keep him. Meanwhile, he's being a complete goofball. You both are amazing. I'll buy a gift for each of you, okay? The Empress. Plop. It drops flat on the ground. After what you did in that sauna, don't even think about coming home tonight. Sister Lu, let him stay at your place. Lu's expression goes blank as she replies, but my house is falling apart. Now he's back in Sai Yuan's arms. Your Majesty, what about the soup we were going to have tonight? She replies coldly, I'll be drinking it alone. He turns to Sai Yuan and says, so, about your place. He drops him too. Oh right, I just remembered. I'm so busy tonight that I won't be able to entertain you, Prince Xiao. You always choose the Empress first. Well, guess what? I don't want you either. The Empress glances back. Let's all return to the Imperial Palace. Prince, you won't be allowed back in the bedroom tonight. Poof, they both walked away. Linger and Lu stand by, simply observing. You're in trouble this time. In the next scene, our characters lie on a futon at Sister Lu's house. The system softly chimes in. Dear Master, would you like sleep assistance? He declines, saying, Nah, I feel like staying up late tonight. But then the door opens and someone walks in. Oh yes, that's the Empress. Wait, is she blonde now? She sees him lying there and thinks to herself, sleeping so peacefully, huh? It looks like he really wasn't planning to come home tonight. Our boy is grinning to himself, relieved that he didn't turn on sleep mode. Is the Empress about to steal another kiss? I'm on the edge of my seat. She approaches, filled with curiosity. He appears to be asleep, but what if he's just pretending? She has an idea and summons a table filled with fresh, aromatic food. She leans in closer, but still, there's nothing. He might actually be sleeping. Then, the smell hits him. She backs up quickly, thinking, oh no, what excuse am I going to use now? He sits there watching her. He sat up, rubbing his mouth. Wait, why am I drooling again? He sniffs the air, wondering why it smells like food in here. The Empress, attempting to play it cool, remarks, now I understand why you drool. You must be dreaming about certain things. He replies, maybe, but wait, what are you doing in my room? She's sitting there, staring at him as if he's the most adorable thing in the world. She sits at the table and says, I didn't want to come, but I couldn't leave you like, you're not that stubborn, but you still need to be punished. Tonight, you'll be the one feeding me dinner. Oh, so that's the punishment? Our guy responds, hey, sounds good to me. Very well, Your Majesty. I'll ensure you're well fed. He leans in and she asks, why are you sitting so close? He replies, Majesty, it's more convenient to be by your side. He accidentally drops a piece of food. The Empress blushes, realizing the truth. He gently picks up the spoon, blows on the food, and then feeds it to her. Greenie asks, is it good? She replies, I'll let you know after another bite. Eager for more, she encourages him to serve her again, and he gladly adds a few extra dishes for good measure. Suddenly, he drops the chopsticks. You're up to something, aren't you? She teases. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I'm just so clumsy. I lost the chopsticks, he responds. He can't even handle something that simple. She tells him it's not a big deal and not to beat himself up over it. He pauses, contemplating how he is going to feed himself. You now? Oh, I have an idea. I can pass it from my mouth to yours. I'm a genius. What? Next scene. Yes, they're really going through with it. I honestly thought she would refuse. She's sitting there, clearly nervous and deep in thought. He didn't do that on purpose, did he? Wasn't it just to feed me with his mouth? Oh, he definitely meant it. Our boy's in number 10, a striker in the making. Every sense was engaged. He even asked, Your Majesty, was it delicious? She replies that it was normal, but deep down, she's thinking that if he did it on purpose, it felt much better than she expected. When he tries to be sneaky, this woman proves to be unstoppable. They sit together, gazing up at the moon, which shines beautifully tonight. They settle in to eat a bit more. Then, Sai Yuan enters the scene. Brother Shao, oh concubine, I brought you some wine. The moment she steps in, the tension fills the room. They both glance at each other in the room, but neither one is happy the other is here. Before long, the air grows heavy. Both of them puff out their chests, staring each other down and pressing those airbags forward. Words begin to fly. One frustration bubbles over as Sai Yuan clings to our boy and throws shade. How strange didn't the Empress ban Xiao from entering the palace? Tonight, the real reason you exiled him was just to meet him behind everyone's back. The Empress fires back, asserting that it's still better than those who sneak around in the middle of the night to steal someone else's man. Sai Yuan attempts to play innocent, retorting, as far as I know, aren't you the one using him as a political shield? Because you refused to marry the Prime Minister's son. The Empress then points directly at her. Shield or not, the moment he entered the palace, he became my man from birth until death. Damn, there's no way out for our boy. Not that he wants to escape. The Empress even slaps Sai Yuan's assets. You keep showing those off just to grab attention, don't you? Sai Yuan snaps, ready to confront the situation. You want to go? Let's go. She lunges forward, attempting to grab her target. Meanwhile, our boy stands back, observing everything with a sense of awe, thinking to himself, my life is amazing. Sai Yuan finally lets out a sigh. If we continue to fight like this, we'll never make any progress, the Empress states. Then what is it that you want? Sai Yuan replies. A smirk. Fighting won't resolve anything. Let's settle this with a different approach. Wine. Do you have the courage for that, Your Majesty? The Empress raises her hand confidently and declares, you think I'm afraid of you. Let's go. Bam. Challenge accepted. Both women slam their hands down on the table. They raise their cups at the table. Wine splashes everywhere as they both glance back at the mess they've created. They stare directly at the protagonist, and he realizes they want him to serve them drinks. Now, our poor guy who despises working is running back and forth, caught in a tough situation. The Empress, already tipsy, blurts out, "My evil melons aren't sweet." Yuan smirks and replies, "Well, if you've never tasted them, how would you know?" They're exchanging flirty, competitive looks, both surprised by how well the other can drink. One more round, ring it. Yuan raises the stakes are higher than ever. This time, let's mix it up. We'll each perform a technique, and whoever messes up will face the consequences. The blonde nods in agreement. Let's do it. Cut to our guys sitting on the roof while they battle it out in the sky. One punch, and then a gulp. A knee to the ribs, followed by another gulp. The growth of empty pots below is increasing. He's watching with concern now. These two have had way too much to drink, and that wine she brought definitely packed a punch. He glances toward a tree where the two women are now sitting side by side beneath its branches. Crying, the Empress sobs, "My parents disappeared, and you have the nerve to try to take Xiao Tian from me." Yuan wipes her tears and replies, "At least yours might still be alive. Mine fought each other to the death. I had to give Xiao Tian away." The Empress mumbles, "My brother died." Yuan, "All my brothers are gone." Wow, these two have lived some rough lives. Can't they just split Xiao Tian 50-50? I mean, everyone wins, especially him. Back to the Empress, gently pats Yuan's shoulder and says, "You really went through more than I did." Then she embraces her in a warm hug. Our protagonist stands there confused. What is happening right now? Has this turned into a tragic bonding scene? He walks forward, trying to make sense of it all. He bends down and scoops both of them up, mumbling to himself. These two are quite a mess. He throws them on the bed, leaving me with the task of cleaning this up. The whole place is a mess. I'm tired too, you know? He activates the system and empties everything inside. "Woo, everyone!" He returns to the room. Both women are already fast asleep. Our boy, looking soft and sweet. They may just be stunned. The next morning, they wake up. They were both super relaxed, having slept soundly while snuggled up together. Wait a moment, was that a kiss? Yep, definitely. Caught off guard, they both freak out and spit to the side. Yuan screams, "You disgusting thief." The Empress growls in response, "I knew you were a kiss bandit. You were the one who stole the kiss, not me." The tension is back, and they're ready to fight again, until the hero walks in, already brimming with energy this early in the day. He catches both of them staring him down and instantly backs away. "I'm preparing breakfast now. Peace." Yuan says he looks so adorable when he gazes at me like that. The Empress, scoffing, he said, "You idiot. He was looking at me, not you." Yuan scoffs and says, "Wow, you're really confident to think he was actually looking at your buns." The Empress snaps, her eyes blazing with fury. "I'm going to punch you." Meanwhile, our boy is just lounging by the door, enjoying the spectacle of the two of them fighting over him as if it were the best soap opera he's ever watched. A little later, everyone gathers for breakfast. The girls are enjoying some good old instant noodles. They're slurping it up, loving it, and saying he's just as good as Mr. John. He is feeling a bit flustered. "Oh no, just a little. I only did it to please you both." The Empress asks, "If you're so good at it, then why don't you cook more often?" He simply shrugs. Food made by someone else always tastes better. Yuan digs in as if she hasn't eaten in days. He shouts, "Hey, chill! There's plenty of food," she yells back. "I want it." The Empress begins scarfing it down as well. They're completely in competition. Our clueless prince stares at them blankly, wondering why they feel the need to compete at everything. Then suddenly, the Empress recalls everything Yuan mentioned, that she has no parents, no siblings, no one. So she sets off. "Since you're all alone, why not come live with us?" Palace? Our protagonist short circuits. Wait, what? Just moments ago, she was filled with jealousy, and now she's inviting her in. Yuan appears to be suspicious. "Are you feeling pity for me now?" The Empress snaps. "Pity you? Please. Why would I pity a cow? I know that if you're outside the palace, you'll find ways to seduce the prince. At least, this way, if you're nearby, you won't be able to do anything behind my back." Back again. Our boy has his hand to his head. "Oh, Majesty, you're not prepared for what's about to unfold." Yuan grins and says, "In that case, I won't be shy. I accept." The Empress says, "Come on then. What do you think? I'm scared of something. If I were that insecure, I wouldn't be the Empress of this empire." They bicker a bit more, engaging in another round of chest-to-chest clashes. Our boy glances over at the system and asks, "You recording this?" The system replies, "Bro, I've been recording since yesterday. You think I don't know you by now?" He pulls the girls apart. "All right, enough. It's time to stop fooling around. Go do something useful. Get to work." Yuan, She speaks up, saying there's something she needs to tell the Empress. Then, she explains. The term 3,000 realms is merely a concept. In reality, there are far more than that. Among these realms, some defy the natural laws, transforming into unstable and chaotic. The energy in these areas makes it impossible for any civilization to survive. These are the desolate domains. The Yan'an Desert, often perceived as a mere wasteland, was once under the control of the so-called Great Yan Empire. Yet all that history is fabricated. The Empress freezes. It's all a facade. But it doesn't matter. I still have to be the Empress of this land to protect it. Yuan grabs her and says, "You really are something else, staying so calm like that. You truly believe you deserve to share the man I'm trying to steal?" The Empress snarls. "You filthy thief, I'll kill you." Yuan lets out a soft ow and dramatically collapses into the Empress's chest. She begins to talk about her feelings. Her country has been in civil war for 20 years, ever since she was born. Her brothers and sisters all attempted to kill her to seize the throne, but she fought back and emerged victorious. The Empress feels a wave of sympathy. At just 22, she shares a similar age with Yuan. Yet Yuan has already been forced to kill family members and witness her entire country crumble. Still, as she gazes at the mountains, she wonders how they can be so massive when she's only a month older than I am. Yuan then shares a story about an ancient training ground where generations of warriors honed their skills. One day, they killed a dragon and discovered a crystal nestled inside its head. Inside that crystal was a baby who would grow up to become the Empress's father. Now, the Empress begins to feel uneasy. Xiaoqian had mentioned that her father's backstory was unusual. No one could get the baby out of the crystal at first. However, as the innate embryo began to awaken, the crystal started to melt. The three great factions include the Demonic Clan, the Dongyuan Empire, and the Pavilion, each taking on a distinct role. The Demonic Clan established the laws, the Pavilion created the plans, and the Dongyuan Empire dispatched representatives to construct a false life and establish the dynasty that the child would eventually govern. After placing him in a secure location, the team began to carefully assess the situation. In the village, that fabricated life began. Yuan pulls her even closer. "You get it. Your father's life is a lie," she says. The embryo wasn't expected to appear for another 60 years, but this one is arriving quickly. The Empress asks where it is. Yuan looks her in the eyes and says, "It's in you, obviously." Suddenly, the ring on her finger begins to glow. A glowing light surrounds her as a statue materializes in her hand. It's the innate jade. When the time arrives, it will absorb all the destiny energy of this nation. The Empress inquires, "So, what happens next?" Yuan explains that if that truly happens, everyone in the dynasty will perish, leaving you all alone. Empress, ruling over ruins. The second option is to resist that fate, even if it means risking your life to protect your people. Then the Empress asks, "If the dragon was in that desert land, where is the body now?" Yuan points off into the distance and says, "Dragon's body melted, engulfing the entire Qingyang mountain region." She says she has probably already noticed something strange, a boy strolling in. Ah, so that's why all the pigs turned into dragon pigs, chicken dragons, fish dragons. What a mix. He slaps Yuan on the head and says, "Why didn't you explain that earlier, woman?" The Empress then asks if they know what happened to her father and her two brothers. Yuan reveals that, according to the records, her father is alive, and that it was her mother who saved him. The Empress blinks, revealing "my mother." Yuan explains that at some point, her father began to see through the false illusion of the dynasty. Just as tensions were about to escalate, a mysterious hand reached out of nowhere and pulled both of them away. Apparently, that power was connected to her mother, and most likely, the two of them are living together now. They glance over and notice the prince, completely zoned out and drooling. He says, "I was just thinking about this pavilion you mentioned. This is pure cruelty. How can someone manipulate another person's entire life like this?" Then he turns to the Empress and softly says, "Your Majesty, don't stress too much. Your father managed to break free from being controlled and used for so long. But what he's really thinking is, they created an entire fake dynasty just so he could enjoy a comfortable life filled with rice. It's no surprise he no longer makes an effort with his daughter. Why can't I meet a woman as wonderful as her dad? I'm stuck with these lunatics. The situation is chaotic, and I can hardly keep my sanity amidst their antics." Two women stare at each other, both puzzled. "What's his deal?" "I have no idea." The prince continues to, "I've got two women juggling my entire life, yet I still feel like such a bum." He approaches the Empress, and, "My wife, she's just not strong. Enough. The Empress stares blankly. Huh, what's the problem? Xiao Qian asks. You know what they say. You need to be strong enough to strike metal. He assumes she has already figured all of this out. She lets Sai Yuan into their lives to train with her, allowing her to grow stronger. He winks. Your Majesty, you really thought this through, didn't you? The Empress is just lost. Wait, what? I thought it through. Thought what through? She coughs awkwardly and replies, after my dad vanished, I became his replacement, huh? Sai Yuan nods in agreement. It was supposed to be one of your brothers. But neither of them awakened the dynasty's power. You did that 4 years ago, and interestingly enough, I almost died 4 years ago as well. Years ago when I ascended to the throne, the prince pauses. 4 years ago, that was when I almost died as well. The Empress gasps in surprise. What happened in your kingdom? She asks. He begins to explain. It was a miserable day with rain pouring down relentlessly. I was being hunted, having already endured multiple slashes. Then a girl saved me. Strangely, the people who were chasing me, I couldn't be seen anymore. Even though I was soaking wet and stuck in an alley, there was no way they missed me. The Empress asks what she looked like, but Sai Yuan interrupts. Wait, just tell me, did that girl become important to you? The prince shakes his head. No, she vanished like a ghost. I find it strange that all 3 of us nearly died that same year. Plus, her hair was silver, which is incredibly rare. The most unforgettable thing about her was her eyes. They were beautiful, just like yours. A bit of a random compliment there, buddy, he added. Her eyebrows had a unique charm, reminiscent of Sai Yuan's. The 2 girls blush. Oh, please, he's just spouting nonsense to flatter us. Realizing what he just said, the prince slaps his forehead in frustration. Wait, no, I wasn't trying to flatter you. That girl truly had your eyes and your eyebrows. The girl sees him. You deserve a reward after all you've been through. The Empress nearly has a heart attack, her tongue out as she screams at Sai Yuan to let him go. Once again, they're brawling. Xia hauls out. Xia responded with a simple, nice, 5 stars for you. The 2 brules have been arguing all day. A day passed until the protagonist finally asked the system if there was a way he could help them grow stronger. The system replied that if his intentions were genuine, he could indeed influence their development. However, it depends on the soul connection he has with each individual. A chart then appeared, displaying the level of soul affinity with everyone. The protagonist blinked in disbelief. Why does Mr. Zhang have a 90% score? What kind of man has such a deep spiritual connection with me? The system explained that the percentage increases with the amount of time we spend together. And it became clear that the reason the Empress had been improving so much lately was simply because she was always near him. He glanced sideways. The girls were still bickering. Meanwhile, his thoughts drifted back to those 3 mysterious figures who had. He created a fake world for his father. Could I really destroy them? He muttered. The system informed him that he could, but only if he went back in time, which meant he would have to jump to another world entirely. Our boy sighed. Damn, he thought. Those guys have been plotting this for over a century. It's strange that none of them have come after me yet, isn't it? Maybe they think I'm invincible. Right then, the 2 women launched into another round of their eternal rivalry. A feud erupted, leading to a return to drinking, and they ended up passing out. Just then, Linger and Sister Lu arrived, seemingly summoned by the protagonist. He turned and said, "Come on, hurry, get in here." As soon as they entered and saw the 2 unconscious girls, Linger gasped. Whoa, Prince, you're wild, huh? Bill and Kehi smacked her on the head and told her to shut it. What kind of nonsense are you thinking? Sister Lu, more composed, understood immediately. You called us to watch over them, didn't you? He asked. Exactly, he replied. If anything happens, use this jade to contact me. Linger squinted, trying to see where the danger might come from. Are you going out this late, Prince? She asked. He brushed it off, saying it was nothing serious, just a quick errand. Don't tell Her Majesty. All right? Sister Lu raised an eyebrow. The protagonist added, inside the Great Yan dynasty, there's a forest called the Pavilion, right? Where is it exactly? Sister Lu replied that she knew the place, but asked why he wanted to know. He then explained his reasons. Those individuals committed a terrible act against the Yan Empire. However, as you both know, I'm a remarkable prince. I would never go there simply to create chaos or anything of the sort. The girls exchanged skeptical glances, clearly unconvinced. Linger asked, wait, you're not going to forgive them and spare everyone, are you? Smack. Another head tap. What have I been teaching you? I'm trying to build good karma. What do you think I am? Linger noted that all the head smacking didn't appear very karmic. Sister Lu agreed, adding that while he built orphanages and helped the poor, he also executed over 100 officials. It's challenging to understand his true intentions. The protagonist succeeded in calming everyone down, despite the troubling actions of the pavilion. Not everyone present is evil. Humans are capable of mistakes. They will have a chance to make things right. With that, he took off at lightning speed, leaving everyone in awe. Lu sighed and said, totally dead. Next, we transition to a branch of the pavilion situated within the Yan dynasty. At the summit of a mountain, an old man stood and declared, "Ah, this place brings back memories. This is where we discovered the dragon, encountered the emperor, and struck the deal. It has been over 100 years since we began this project, and now we are finally on the verge of reaping the rewards. When the moment arrives, I will use her body to create an elixir, one that could enable my daughter to bear a child of pure blood." A subordinate rushed in, exclaiming, "My lord, someone's approaching the mountain." The old man raised an eyebrow in surprise. "Huh, late at night? Didn't the barrier formation stop them?" The messenger replied, "It's Prince Xiaoqian. He's carrying the Empress's jade." The mountain's formation didn't hinder him. The elder was intrigued. "Xiao Tian, the kid who survives on his good looks? What does he want with our pavilion? Is anyone accompanying him?" "No. He came alone, but his serious demeanor carried an aura of mercy." The old man chuckled at the sight of the boy, noting that he had traveled all this way with such an expression. "He must be insane," one elder remarked. Another asked, "Should we go help him up the mountain?" The first elder replied, "Nah, let that fool climb up on his own. Once he reaches the top, throw him right back down. Our boy is making his way up the mountain, convinced he deserves an Oscar for his performance. He's putting in the effort to climb the stairs just like everyone else." An hour later, he finally reaches the top of the pavilion. Clearly, he didn't use his powers to fly up. He wanted to give others a chance and keep things from going awry. He arrived as a normal, humble individual. The old man welcomes Prince Xiao, who has just completed an exhausting mountain climb. Without wasting any time, Xiao states plainly, "I was going to give you 2 chances to earn my forgiveness. You already blew the first one by making me walk all the way up. Let's see if you handle the next chance better." The old man spreads his arms wide and asks, "Prince, why are you talking about forgiveness? What exactly did the pavilion do wrong?" Our protagonist is unyielding. "You, the pavilion of Chang'e, the empire of Dan Yang, and the demon sect have all meddled in the life of the Empress's father. Not only did you murder 2 of her uncles, but you also deceived her majesty. Your actions are despicable, and what you did constitutes a grave crime. Yet here you are, laughing and questioning why I should forgive you." The old man freezes in shock. How does he know about that? This can't be happening. Their plan was flawless. How did this clueless little prince manage to figure everything out? But Xiao just smirks right in his face. "We're so scared. Almighty Prince Xiao.